I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing, she loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K. I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing, she loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K.
Fury fam, Miami Dolphins fans everywhere, welcome to another edition of LG Shaking the Panel. I am your host, Larry K. I apologize for the mix-up and the Tuesday show, but this is Christmas week. People are celebrating Hanukkah, but this is Christmas week too. It's the holidays, and the end of the day, it just so happened that I needed to tend to some business the rest of the week, and so I wasn't going to be able to get on and have the show later in the week, so the show's got to be today, Tuesday, instead. Nonetheless, I'm happy to be with everybody. I'm happy to discuss our Fins, and believe it or not, I'm actually in better spirits this week than I was, last week after the loss to LA. Quite frankly, I feel better. And the reason I feel better is that the main questions that plagued this franchise after the loss to LA were questions and issues that would plague us for years to come and seasons to come, not just for the rest of this season, right? So after we had, and happy holidays to you, Wildcat, so after we had the lost to LA, there was a lot of question and a lot of concern, not only regarding this season, but regarding, the state of the franchise, the pieces that we had in place, and all of those things really combined. After the loss to Buffalo, yes, the stakes for this season just got higher with the last 3 games. The playoff chances that we had, the chances we had to get into a higher seed, those things also took somewhat of a hit. But as far as wondering where the franchise is going, as far as, hope and promise and confidence or lack thereof in terms of the actual direction of the franchise overall, in terms of that, after the Buffalo loss, despite what it did to our, immediate season, you had to be a little bit more encouraged by what you saw against Buffalo as compared to what you saw in the 2 games prior. And that's not just because, we had such bad games the prior to 2 games in California that any game and any good performance would suffice to put your mind a little bit at ease. That's not what occurred, right? What occurred was it was late in the season in December. These were major games, and Buffalo in particular is a place we're going to have to continue to go up and play every year without fail. Buffalo is a team that has, quite frankly, embarrassed us at certain times in previous years, straight up embarrassed us, because when something was on the line, they just blew us out entirely, right? So to go up to Buffalo with this quarterback, with this team, and to be playing in freezing cold weather in a hostile environment with people from all over the country watching primetime game, a lot of hype leading up to the game, and for the game to be so pivotal in terms of playoff hopes, and also all the media pressure, all the questions, everything else plaguing this team. For this team to go up there and play the way that they played, I just feel overall better as a Dolphins fan, much better overall as a Dolphins fan, going forward, because if this team and this quarterback can in fact play in cold weather in tough blizzard-like conditions in a hostile environment on prime time in December in a pivotal game against the Bills, then I guess we've answered a couple questions. The next step is consistency. The next step is to actually win some of these games. I find it interesting that the narrative that had been going out there previously had been, well, Miami in the 5-game winning streak. Miami in the 5-game stretch. John, what up, man? Miami in that 5-game stretch, they only beat crappy teams. Well, look at the Detroit Lions right now. And look at how they're playing. They're on the brink of being a playoff team right now. Look at how Kansas City struggled against Houston. Went into overtime. All of a sudden, a team like the Lions that was not a playoff team, a crappy team, is all of a sudden on the brink of the playoffs and may even be challenging for a wild card spot. So, things change week to week. And teams that you thought were easy wind up being pretty damn good teams. Now, how about the Chargers? We lost to them. No one's saying they were an easy team, but they weren't supposed to be as good as advertised, especially on defense. We were supposed to have laid an egg because LA wasn't that good. We had to win it. Well, look at LA now. So who's the good team and who's the bad team? Who has the good defense? Who has the bad defense? Who deserves accolades? Who doesn't? You got to sort that out at the end of the year. Because there's always ebbs and flows, and when we were in that 5-game winning streak, we were going to the Super Bowl, according to some commentators, not me. When we beat Buffalo the first time, we were 3-0 riding high. We were going to Super Bowl then too, remember? Now we lost 3. Yeah, we're kind of out of the picture. But the Lions, watch, those Lions are looking good. Okay, well, we beat them. Thought they were one of the bad teams we lost to. Guess not. So it's just interesting how things continue to fluctuate and move and things, and you can't get a handle on where the team is. You can't get a handle of where the squad is. You're not sure, but I just feel a little better after seeing the game against the Bills. I just feel better. I think we're getting a little bit, and people have said it. Commentators have said it. The Dolphins, despite losing the 3rd game, I'm encouraged. I mean, because for a good portion of that game, Bills fans could say whatever they want. Other fans could say whatever they want. For a good portion of that game, people around the country watching that game thought, damn, Miami's going to win this thing. Yeah, Miami's legit. They're going to win this. The national media and national viewers finally saw what we've been seeing all season. That offense play the way it can play. And it looked formidable, to say the least. So if it's encouraging people outside the fan base, it should certainly be encouraging the fan base. I'm not sitting here trying to be a, Pollyanna. That's not my style at all. Trust me. And I had a rough day and I'm having a rough week. I'll tell you guys the truth. And YouTube's giving me problems too. YouTube wants to be hypocritical, but I'm not going to get into that. So I'm no kind of optimist. I'm not telling you, oh, you better be excited because we're going to definitely make the playoffs. You better be excited because we're going to Super Bowl in the next year. I'm not saying any of that. I still respect people who think the other shoe might drop because we're still Miami Dolphins fans. Don't get it twisted. But I'm saying you should be a little bit excited for Sunday. You should be a bit hyped for Sunday because of the way we played against Buffalo. We had to show you something. I think we did show them something. Now, could they take that right back away and look terrible on Sunday? Damn, I hope not, but it's possible. And then we'll be right back here. But as of now, they look pretty good on Sunday. So, the goalposts moving and all those things is interesting. Colin Cowherd, I told you on my other video, all of a sudden he's saying, well, the weather wasn't a factor at all. The weather wasn't a factor until the end of the 4th quarter. Like, okay. So I thought it was just the cold that we couldn't play in. I thought the cold and the wind, that was the factor. Now the weather's only a factor when it's actually precipitation. Actually when there's snow. That's the only time now. Okay. Fine. Like, just keep moving it. What I saw was what I wanted to see. We didn't win. It sucked. I'm still heartbroken about it. The season is still, We didn't take care of our business at all in 3 games on the road. The season's still not where we wanted it to be or pictured it to be when we had that great start and when we were 8-3, not even close. But you got to be encouraged by what you saw. The rest of the season starts against Green Bay on Christmas Day. You follow that up with a road trip to New England on New Year's Day. And then to close it out, the first week after New Year's, you got the New York Jets at home. The New York Jets, who, by the way, are looking like one of our biggest obstacles to the postseason, who are playing Thursday on a short week, albeit at home, but playing without, again, their starting quarterback, Mike White, again with Zach Wilson. So, and then I see Jayzan, I guess it's like a play on Jason, pretty cool. I dig it. I don't know how I should feel about only being 1 game better than last year's team after 14 games. We had a garbage roster last year, and this year we have way better roster and better coaches. Yeah, I agree. But remember, our defense is way more depleted this year than last year. Way more depleted this year than last year, Jay. So while last year we were 1 game worse and we were started on an epic losing streak, we had our defense intact mostly, aside from X being a little banged up early in the year. Yet, we still started the season off losing all of them. We were pretty much out of it already by the time we got to this point in the year. This year, our defense is completely just banged up in the secondary terribly. Not to mention Agba, who wasn't even producing this year anyway, but he goes down. We're just not at full strength on defense. I think we're playing a tougher schedule. Well, the 5 games were rough, but we played tougher teams, earlier in the year and whatnot. And just look at the stats and look at the numbers they're putting up. Look at the eye test. It's a better team than last year. Of course, you should be upset that a better team than last year is only 1 game better in the standings. But let's wait till the last 3 games pass. Let's wait till the end of the season to definitively say that, I would say. Because we could wind up several games better than last year. We could make the playoffs and win one. I mean, and everything would change, not only with the numbers, not only with the eye test, not only with the stats, not only with, multiple Pro Bowlers, not only with getting rewarded with primetime games because people actually want to watch us because we're exciting, not even just that, but we might actually be definitively better at the end of the year than last year's team. Quite frankly, now look, I predicted a loss in San Fran. I predicted a loss to Buffalo. I predicted a win at LA, but I also predicted a loss at Baltimore. So I'm right around the ballpark I saw this team. And I still was optimistic about this team, and that was still right around my ballpark. So I predict a win against Green Bay. I'm not going to go any further than that right now, just like the team won't. But I predict a win. Now, is Green Bay playing better right now? Yes, Green Bay is playing better right now than they were early in the year. They are. They're in contention for the playoffs too now. They're not playing around. Green Bay's never a slouch, but I told you, and we had this discussion on the air. We've beaten Green Bay 2 out of the last 3 times we've played them. We're at home. We're finally back home. And if we can carry any bit of that enthusiasm and that momentum and that mentality that we had in Buffalo back home with us against Green Bay, I would watch out if I was Green Bay. If this team loses 4 in a row, then we do have serious problems. And that might be the coaching and whatnot. And then the assertion you originally made that we even had better coaches, yet we're better. Maybe we don't. If they can't pull this game off. You got to win this game. You got to muster up everything you can muster. Green Bay just won. They don't need it as bad. You get that muster and you win this game. That's what you do. And you don't play around with it. That's pretty much it. Shake Goodman, what's up, my brother?
What's going on? It's another beautiful day in Zamunda.
Damn right it is, sir. Damn right it is. So we doing a little different Tuesday airing, Shake. We'll see if we get as many viewers. People don't know what's on. I put a post. I said it in some of the videos.
I didn't even get my notification.
Yeah, see, I don't know. And then usually we get the views after. It's, people watch it after anyway. So I think worst case, people will come on, Shake, tomorrow looking for the live show, see this stream and click it, and then that's what we'll get the views. But we'll see who trickles in and whatnot. Shake, man, how you feeling? We talked right after the game, and you had told me that you had several points you wanted to make that you really wanted to delve into. So I really want to hear what's on your mind, man, especially because we're on this special format today.
Well, that's the one thing that I was telling you. You pretty much touched on it, that the fact that everybody says, well, our opponent, we had a soft schedule. Look at the teams. You just mentioned it, man. They went from the Houston Texans almost beat the Cowboys, and they almost beat the Chiefs.
Right.
The week before that, the Jets almost beat the Bills. So at the end of the day, one thing I said to I was talking to, he was on here last week, Tony. Tony that was on here last week. He was saying that the level of competition was an aberration. That was a fluke. But I'm like, listen, this isn't college, bro. This isn't in university. This isn't Florida playing FAMU. This isn't Florida playing Appalachian State. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That you take the worst corner, you take the bottom half of the cornerbacks, and on an NFL roster, you compile them, and they'll beat a lot of college schools. Actually, every college school out there.
Yes, and that's what I've been saying that too, Shake. Like in college, you start looking at style points in college, because if you're playing like a MAC team and you're an ACC team, or you're an SEC team playing, AAC team, you don't expect by any means, you don't expect to. Sorry, I see Greg down here, so I see him and he's at work and it's funny, so I'm just laughing. But you don't expect to have a game with those teams. You expect to crush those teams. But in the NFL, that's just not the case. There's parity. It's like one big SEC top half, not even the whole SEC. It's like one Big Ten top 5. Like everybody has some level of parity. No one is that pathetic most years where they can't give you a run for your money. Everybody's a professional. Everybody is the best of the best. Everybody with a coaching change or a couple player change in 1 or 2 years' time can become a playoff or Super Bowl contender, because so many of the rank and file players have parity, Shake. So I agree with you. Number one, you can't take any win for granted. You can't say, oh, that's just an easy win, because that's not how this works. And number two, some teams all of a sudden look much better, especially when they get things right. Houston starts knocking the crap out of Tua in the second half of that game. Next thing you know, they're playing the Cowboys late and almost beating them, and then playing KC into overtime. KC and Mahomes, everybody's darlings, everybody's, Super Bowl favorite. The road goes through KC, and for good reason. They take them into overtime. So why are you going to... And now the Lions are on the verge of playoffs. They might make the playoffs, and all of a sudden they're a formidable playoff team who, by the way, Zach Wilson's not great. By the way, Jets aren't great. But the Jets' defense is damn good. And so, we had to do what we had to do toe-to-toe against Detroit to win it, Shake. I'm not counting good games and bad games. I'm not doing it, especially not till the end of the year, Shake.
No. There's no such thing as an easy schedule in the NFL.
100% true. And Greg, what's going on? What's the report from the store here, sir?
Yeah, I'm on my break right now.
You on the 15-minute or the half hour?
15, unfortunately.
Yeah. So at these type of nights, do you only get 1 15, 2 15s, or do you get the half hour and the 15?
Just one. If I work 7 hours plus, I get a half.
Okay. Yes, I remember. Yo, hold on. You guys hold the fort down for a second. I got to fix a plug or something. Just talk.
Bro,
what's going on, Greg? How you doing?
I'm doing great. The Bills got lucky, man.
Yeah, trust me. I was telling Larry, I said, you hate the Bills as much as I do, and I hate the Bills. There's two teams I hate the most. I hate the Bills and the Canes.
Yeah.
I hate the Bills and then the Patriots. By the way,
yes.
I don't like the Patriots,
man. I want the Patriots. Larry, I sent you the video on Instagram.
Dude, one of the best videos just ever.
But if you go on Twitter, there's 2 parts of my video. TD retweeted it, so if you can't find my Twitter, go to TD's page. He has it. It's part 1, and there's a part 2. It's hilarious.
It really is.
Did you see it on my Facebook? I posted. They compared the Water Boy when he gave the linebacker the ball and he scored the touchdown.
Yes, dude. Yes. That is like what it was. I mean, I couldn't believe that play. That play was ridiculous.
Bro, I was getting ready to get in the shower, and then I watched the end of the Patriots game before it goes to overtime, and I'm watching Stevenson. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? Then they toss it back, and then all of a sudden, Chandler Jones get it. I'm jumping up and down.
And he's running over Mac Jones. And by the way, that's something else I want to talk about. As we're talking about these games, look, there's stiff competition. I thought we played pretty well against Buffalo. Well, first of all, what was your guys' take on how we played?
They got lucky, man. They paid the refs good.
Yeah, that last call, it was PI, but I didn't think it should have been called at that time. There's a couple
And that
reasons, but
two-point
Shake,
conversion was a little sus.
it was sus. Yeah, Shake.
At the end of the day, once you leave it up, it's easy for us to say what's pass interference because we're watching it from a TV, many angles. But when you're standing next to the person, it is not. So it's easier to say it was a pass interference as a viewer at home, but it's harder as a referee on the actual scene.
No, I agree with that too. So you can't hold it accountable either. Like you can't. We didn't make the plays down the stretch either. I was not
run
thrilled.
the ball, bro.
Yep. See,
What
I
we're
was
doing.
not. I was
Adam
not
Gase.
happy with it with McDaniel with that, man. I don't understand what his obsession is with trying to pass the ball on 3rd and short when we're
My
running,
dad
Greg.
was yelling, saying, "I don't care if we run the ball 30 times and pass the ball once.
Yes. Just run it.
We're cooking."
Getting 8 yards a clip, Greg. 8 yards a clip, and you don't try. I think one drive we did run it, and we wound up driving it down and winding up with a touchdown. I think we actually ran for a touchdown too with Ahmed.
Yeah,
but
Ahmed.
these guys are not. He's not running the ball. And when he asked him about it, he's like, well, they're going to bring a run blitzer. He's just trying to outsmart himself. And we've been saying that he's been doing that all year in some situations, and eventually he's going to come back and bite him. Will it bit him on Sunday? That's not the only reason, but, I think we played well. I mean, number one, we had those kind of mistakes. Number two, Josh Allen is pretty good. The Bills are pretty good. They beat us by 3 points, by a last-second field goal. What are you going to do? That happens, That happens.
It happens, man. I was frustrated after the loss because I felt like if we kept running the ball, we would have won this game. I
think so, too. I think that last drive, which I thought was crazy, and Cap, what up? Adam, what's going on? Chris Blanton, I'll get to your comment in a second. I thought one of the things that was interesting was Tua, that last drive in the blizzard, he threw. The first couple plays were throws, and they were not short throws. And what got us into Buffalo territory was actually the passing game. All we had to do was run it because the passing game isn't going to play forever, isn't going to work forever. But you got to run it. But I was impressed that we got down that far in that blizzard when everybody's saying, we're soft, we can't catch the ball, we can't play in the cold, we can't throw the ball, and we made it down there.
Yeah.
So, I thought that was promising. I just wish McDaniel would have, if we're throwing the whole time, McDaniel, and we haven't run much in the second half, and we're opening huge holes, maybe it's outsmarting the defense to actually run it for once on 3rd down. I don't know. They didn't look outsmarted on the pass. Yeah. Buffalo looked like they knew where to be. What do you think of that play call and Shake?
Oh, man. That's are we going to do the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Well, damn right we're going to do the good, the bad, and the damn ugly. I'm not playing around here.
The good. The bad. The ugly.
Yeah, so Shake, what give us the lowdown.
The good, we're still alive in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And our destiny is still in our hands. That's the good.
Yes.
The bad, we blew an 8-point lead to the Buffalo Bills. That is bad. And the ugly, we only ran 5 times in the 4th quarter. There's a country song that says, "Don't outsmart your common sense," and that's what McDaniel was doing. He outsmarted his common sense.
Bro, he definitely did, and I don't understand that. That's a crazy statistic when you really break it down. With the way we were running that ball, it's criminal. It's criminal that we did not run more than 5 times in the second half where the game was on the line and we had the lead for a portion of it. It's criminal.
And it's criminal.
Criminal.
That's why I'm Shake Goodman now.
Yeah, you're going to have to defend this type of activity, Shake. Mike McDaniel's going to need to call you up for a representation because what the hell was going on?
That's all right. I got the judges in my back pocket.
There you go. I just don't get it, though. I don't get it. I don't get it. And Justin Gentile here says the throw Tua had to Tyreek in the blizzard was one of his best throws of the game. I mean, he had a lot of them. I'm not sitting here saying he had the type of – and by the way, I thought it was funny, too. the commentators. Colin Cowherd's like probably the biggest anti-Tua cat right now.
Yeah.
Rich Eisen was like, yeah, I mean, I like them. They played good, and everybody else is. And then
By
he
the way,
says, yeah.
Bills, if we see you in the playoffs, they're already scared. They don't want us to see us in the playoffs. They're scared.
No, they don't.
They're quaking in the boots.
They don't. They're pissed off, too. All they got is snowball disses.
They got lucky, man.
Yeah.
And by the way, you know what I think is funny? Tua had a little biography come out before he started his first game.
Mm-hmm.
And on that biography, if you look it up, Colin Cowherd was kissing his ass.
That's hilarious. And it's funny to me, too, because Cowherd says he's a great story, kind of kid you want to root for. It's like, what do you mean? You're acting like he's like Rudy or something. He was a top draft pick from Alabama. Hawaii, good enough to go to Alabama. Like, what do you mean he's a nice story you want to root for him like he's Rudy? What are you talking about?
Brock Purdy.
Purdy is more than
Purdy.
yes. Purdy's more. But it was funny because Cowherd says, for all this talk about trying to dismiss the Baltimore game because it was a comeback, as if that's some kind of standard now. Well, comebacks don't count now. But Cowherd says, well, I'll tell you what, Mahomes was down. He was down, but he had to will his team to win at the end. And then same thing with that. They came back, so that makes them great. I'm like, well, what the hell are we talking about with Baltimore then?
Exactly.
There's just too much nonsense.
You're talking about Andy Reid, the only coach that's been to 4 NFC championships and 4 NFC championships. You're talking about that Andy Reid?
Right.
You're talking about that Andy Reid that made McNabb look like an Pro Bowl, a perennial All-Pro? You're talking about that Andy Reid?
Right. Yeah, that dude. So but the coaching's great in Miami, but it's not, Mahomes carries that team. And by the way, guys, I see a lot of comments in here. I love it. It's a lot of livelihood. Smash the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Hit the like button on this video. It gets the algorithm up. Hit the subscribe button. Join Fury Fan. We have a lot of great conversations. And the channel, as you know, is churning out content. And I'm churning out more content because more people are subscribing. More donations are rolling in. So I'm able to do that. Set aside the time and the resources to make it happen. So hit subscribe. But yeah, it's just funny, all the different narratives and whatnot. How it all changes because people just always want to fit an agenda. They don't want to just analyze what's out there, what just naturally occurs, and then just talk about it. They want to create their own narratives and create their own, realities. So they have to pick and choose and mix and match different examples and realities to get to the point they want to. It's really pretty absurd. But, yeah.
I'm not trying to get political, but I'm going to try to say this. Colin Cowherd, there's one thing I agree with Colin Cowherd. People watch TV for affirmation, not information. Like, for instance, if you're on the left, you watch CNN. If you're on the right, you watch Fox News. So whatever you believe in, you watch for affirmation. You don't watch for information. So if you're anti-Tua, you're going to watch Cowherd. If you're pro-Tua, you're going to watch who else? Who can I say? The guys from Get Up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So whoever you're for or against, like for instance, if you don't like TD so much, if you don't like Tua,
right?
I'm not saying that TD is an anti-Tua, but most people that don't like Tua watch TD.
Yes.
The people that like Tua, they go to Dudley Do-Wrong or Miami Sports Music. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's about affirmation, not information.
By the way, anybody know what the hell's happened to Phin-Side the NFL? Like, Laura Armstrong, who comments on my thing all the time, I think I've seen her on Big O too, goes like, oh, what happened to Phin-Side, guys? And I looked at him, and like, they did a preview for the LA game, then did like a post game, and then they didn't do a preview for Buffalo and didn't do a post game. Kind of weird. I don't know if anybody's heard of Phin-Side the NFL.
He probably I think he had some health issues before, so
okay. That's what I'm. Hopefully they're okay. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully everything's okay because I was wondering about that. Our thoughts go out to them. I mean, we're all a Finns community here, and our thoughts go out to them for sure. I see a comment in here. It says, "I would have liked to see more traditional screens. Hopefully McDaniel will get better at play calling." Yeah, I mean we had the one screen to Tyreek, which I think didn't go well. And when I was watching, I don't remember if it was Big O, Alan Poupart. I don't remember who it was. Somebody said, I think it was Alan Poupart said, on that play, usually Tyreek sells that. And he takes a couple hard steps forward because the defenders always, of course, start sprinting upfield at that point. But you know, he didn't sell it this time. He was lackadaisical, and they were all over it, and we lost a couple yards, and it put us in a worse position down the stretch when we really needed to convert, get downfield, score some points with some more first downs. So, now that was interesting too, you know. I don't, and Tyreek, did you see that Tyreek came out and said, I'm never going to play that bad again. You know, It's on me. I mean, he played pretty good. He didn't play terrible, but for his standards, he wasn't satisfied with how he played, and I thought that was interesting. Let me bring up another comment. Jericho says, we got to talk about all of the drop balls at some point. But to not running on 3rd and short is outlandish play calling in the snow when I was working all game. 5 carries second half, shaking my head. Yeah, it just – and the drop ball, look, does it win us the game? Maybe, yeah. I mean, that's 4 points right there. If Sherfield catches that ball, which is right in his hands, and don't forget, there was a drop ball right before that in Tyreek's hands, not as easy as a catch, but that was – so 2 drop touchdowns in a row, and these weren't the kind of things where, you know, oh, it kind of hit him in the hands, it hit you in the hands, you got to catch it, that's the rule, but the pass wasn't great. No, this was like – right on Sherfield, right here as he's crossing the end line, picture perfect pass that he usually catches, and he can't hold on to it. I don't know if you guys saw the other pass that really bothered me that you know wasn't as egregious as Sherfield's drop, but Braylon Sanders, when he's going straight down the middle of the field, and he turns around, I don't know what he was doing. He turned around, committed offensive pass interference, blatantly pushed off the guy, and then by the time he turns around from committing a penalty, the ball's gone. Like, A, it wasn't called, so whatever, but B, what are you doing? Just keep running, and you have a reception, maybe a touchdown at the least, like a 30, 40-yard gain. Instead, you commit offensive PI just to miss the ball. What is that kid doing? He also fumbled one of his 2 receptions the first time he played. I say it's time for Easy E.
Yes. And on that note, I hate to do it to you, but I got to go back to work. Hopefully,
all right.
if you guys are still on, I'll pop back in.
You be nice to the Christmas time old ladies that are shopping. They need their food. They don't want any drama from you, Greg, all right?
Yeah.
And make sure not to crush their bread, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't crush the bread.
Man, we got to move on from this. We fought hard. We should have won, but hey, you know, nobody expected us to win this game. I mean, we got a competitive game out of it. But now it's on to the Packers, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on that if you guys are still on, all right?
All right, brother.
And everyone, have a good time. And yeah.
All right, we'll talk to you soon,
Merry
bro.
Christmas if I don't see you guys again.
Merry Christmas, man. All right, later. Greg's a legend. But you know what I'm saying, Shake, man? These drops hurt. I mean, and it's not to sit here and complain all day, but here's my thing. Against Green Bay, Shake, I think we can right the ship because the way, again, this wasn't like San Fran where the plays were there, but Tua was terrible. This wasn't like LA where the offense was just smothered, couldn't do anything. This was in the middle. This was good offensive play calling, except for missing on the runs, but design, I mean, was good as far as most of the passing game and the running game when he used it. And then quarterback and Tua was also on point, and the line also played well. So now it's like, okay, it was just a tough loss, but the facets of the game we care about, they played well. So now I'm pretty encouraged about Green Bay. I think we can right the ship. I think we can make some things happen, Shake, this Sunday.
Yeah.
Now the defense. Yeah, what were you saying?
I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is fast enough to outrun our defensive end. The only thing that worries me is I hope that what killed us in the San Francisco game and it killed us in the LA game is those short little dump-offs in the middle.
Yes.
Where the middle of the field was wide open, and they were getting little 5-6 yard plays. And at the end of the day, it does 2 things. Number 1, it moves the chains. Number 2, kills the clock. And number 3, has our defense out there for the majority of the game.
You're right. Yeah, it's tough. And, we've been that kind of bend but don't break or bend but sometimes break defense all year. It's the linebacking core, man. It's just what it is. They struggle to cover the running backs out of the backfield. They struggle to cover tight ends. That middle of the field is a problem. They're decent against the run, but when it comes to the pass, unless they're blitzing and they're on a pass rush, they tend to struggle. So it's something to definitely watch out for. And Aaron Rodgers, and is he still playing? He's playing this week, right? Because I remember he was a little nicked up. But he's playing.
They're not eliminated yet. They beat LA last night.
Okay, yeah. So they're they're gonna be playing for something. Rodgers is no slouch, nobody to look down at. So it's not gonna be easy no matter what happens. That's for damn sure. I want to talk to you about something else, Shake, before I bring other people on here. I want to talk to you about this, Bradley Chubb trade and his play so far. Now I've been seeing a lot across the internet that and from Dolphins people who watch the film that Chubb's really not getting double teamed. Chubb's effort isn't the best. Chubb's just really not playing. Now, it's not that he's playing terribly. It's not that he's costing us anything. It's just that, with all the media hype and all the, salary and the big trade and all that. Now, the compensation to me, Shake, wasn't that much because this is going to be a low first-round pick, almost a second-round pick. We're not going to get a player. It's not like it's a top 10 pick where you're guaranteed to get a player that could be better than Chubb. It's like you're going to get, at worst, somebody who's probably as good as Chubb. So you might as well just take a proven commodity. So I'm not mad at the compensation, but the salary issue, it's a lot of money. What do you think of that trade so far? I mean, what has it done for us? Is anything concerning about Chubb and his play right now?
Well, first thing I'm going to say is, just because you pay $50 for a Big Mac doesn't make the Big Mac going to taste any better. That's one. Oh, we paid all this money. No, just because, like I said, just because you pay $50 for the Big Mac doesn't make the Big Mac going to taste better. All right, doesn't mean the Big Mac is going to do spectacular things because you gave it more money. There's another saying: just because you poke more holes into something doesn't mean you're going to get more out of it. So at the end of the day, bro, you got two factors. Number one, Emmanuel Ogbah, which a guy who was doing all the quiet, dirty work, for one. He's out of there, so he has to somebody has to fill in that role. You know what I mean? And two, ever since he got there, Phillips has been playing better. Is that a coincidence?
I was wondering about that.
So at the end of the day, even if he doesn't get the production and somebody else gets the production, I don't give a shit. If we get a lot more, if we get more sacks, even if it's not from him, at the end of the day, if he's part of the equation that's getting us more sacks, then to me it's worth it.
I mean, that makes sense. So you're saying overall we're getting more sacks. So whether it's him individually or not, and I guess we could dissect that at the end of the year too when we have more film. But all in all, we're getting better.
We're part of the equation.
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, I mean, look, we are getting more QB pressures. We are rushing the passer much better since he's been here. So, circumstantially and rule of deductive reasoning, you would think that he's a big part of the reason. So that definitely makes sense, and I'll go with that for now too. Although I would like to see him
last year.
Huh?
He's not gonna. I seen him chasing Josh Allen in the game.
Right. Yeah. True. And there's been a couple times where Chubb has been right on the heels of these quarterbacks, kind of flushing them out of the pocket, maybe turning them into pressure. So, all may not be lost in that regard, and we can only hope.
They're called cleanup sacks.
Yeah, and we can only hope that all is not lost with that. But yeah, that does certainly make sense, Shake. I'm going to drop the link here to you guys. If you want to join us, feel free to hop on.
That's the thing that kills me. Because, we spent a fifth for this, so I expect no, man. It's the fault of the evaluator, not the player. The player is who he is. The evaluator should have. If you buy a gold bracelet, whatever, right, and the guy who fenced it said it's 50,000 and it's really 20,000. It's the fault, not your fault. It's the fencer's fault for overlooking the actual true value of what the damn bracelet is worth.
No, you're 100% right. And I mean, I think that's kind of what I'm getting at too is, not Chubb's fault, but, did this team, did our GM maybe pay a lot for not a huge return? I guess time's going to tell us. And you can't judge somebody off a couple games either. This defense is struggling all year. It continues to struggle. It kind of is what it is. But I get it. I mean, I get it. We got Tony in the building.
What's up, Tony?
Tone, what's good?
Hey, Larry. Hey, Shake. How are you guys?
Doing pretty good, man. How you feeling, man? What's on your mind, bro?
No, and me and Shake talk about this on other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Our fan base is overlooking the Packers like they're nothing. Like I don't understand that. Like
they overlook the Texans. They overlook the you watch as much panels as I watch, Tony. Every team that we play, they overlook. So you know what I mean. Name one team this year that they say, okay, we're gonna lose to them, or we're gonna struggle against them.
Nobody, but let's be the reason why I don't understand the Packers thing. They're coming into this game fighting for a playoff spot. Let's not act like we're gonna just blow them out. That's what some of our fan base is thinking. Let's be realistic. I don't think that happens. I really don't.
Same thing with the Chargers. How many fans said, "Oh, we're gonna put a 40 burger on the Chargers"?
Yeah, it's unreal. I understand fan is short for fanatic, but we take it too far sometimes. Let's be realistic.
And we're
a little
Phin-Addicts
bit.
here. Phin-Addicts here, sir. But yeah, I'm not overlook. Look, I didn't overlook anybody. I love the one blowout or one or two blowouts or semi blowouts we had. Everything else was close, but there were certain games for sure where, despite how close it was, I just felt a little more confident. I just think this year, and I don't think I'm off base, I personally predict a win. I don't predict a blowout. I'm not sitting here comfortable. It's gone through my mind more than once. What if I turn on that TV Christmas Day and it ruins my damn holiday because, the Packers come out and just dominate us? That's possible too. They're not a bad team. But I just think, on the way this team is playing, the way the personnel on this team is compared to how the Packers have been, compared to who they have, I just think we're the better team this year. Certainly doesn't mean they can't win. Certainly doesn't mean it's going to be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. But
I'm going to bring up one person. They have Aaron Rodgers. And the team is getting into the groove of things. And let's not forget, I understand it took their receivers a while to develop until right now, but they're playing well the past 6-7 games.
No, they are. And I mean, look, I get Aaron Rodgers, but at a certain point, you can say that about any quarterback. I mean, Tom Brady, Tampa has Tom Brady. So what? Like, our team's really scared of Tampa right now? No. Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback, great historical quarterback, has won Super Bowls. He's going to throw some touchdowns against us. He's going to move the ball. It is not going to be a game where you could kick back, and eat your lasagna or eat your Christmas, morning food, sit with your presents or, take the eyes off it to play video games that you just got from Santa and just relax, okay? This is going to be a serious game that goes back and forth.
This is an honest question. Do you think with how Tua performed the last few games where the stats were okay, but they weren't great. Do you think he can maybe keep up a little bit with Aaron, like throwing?
I think he certainly can.
400 yards or something. Hypothetically, let's say Aaron throws for 400. Do you think Tua can throw for 350 yards
Yes.
or?
I think he can, and I think, quite frankly, I think he played like trash against L.A. and he played like trash against San Francisco for sure.
Well, and think about this: he threw for 300 in San Francisco.
Right, and he still looked like trash. So, like, when yards and stats go somewhere, when he played against Buffalo, he threw for less. But hey, if Braylon Sanders can catch that ball instead of committing offensive PI, that's another 40, 50 yards right there. And then if one of those guys catches a touchdown, he's only got one less touchdown than Josh Allen.
Yeah,
3 and 4. So, and he looked good doing it. So
yeah, I'm gonna say this: the one thing I noticed with the Bills, they played our two small receivers physical, and they couldn't get off the line that well. And stuff
but yet
like that.
they still had those big plays against the Bills. See, this is why I feel better, right? Because you have all these things. You have Tua looking like crap in a pivotal game. You have McDaniel struggling, which is the one thing that maybe I wasn't that excited about with the Bills when he refused to run the ball. But you got, the receivers. Now they're saying, well, they play bump and run coverage and they're too physical and they knock them off their routes and they're not going to be able to keep up with their routes. But they still, whether they played bump and run, it didn't work because these guys still had a touchdown each and still had plenty of yards. So I think that's another reason why I'm encouraged by the Buffalo game, because all these questions that we had, they seem to do better than they had the last couple of weeks, and instead of collapsing, seem to do well.
Yeah,
John,
no, and Larry, I said this after that game. Honestly, I felt we got lucky that it wasn't snowing the whole game, because I can't believe I'm saying this. I don't think if the game wasn't, if it was purely snowing the whole game, like how it started pouring snow in the fourth quarter, I don't think we score. I really don't. Our offense like stagnated in the fourth quarter. Do you agree?
No, I don't agree. I think the offense moved the ball into Buffalo territory, and then McDaniel once again refused to call a run play on 3rd and short. We never got the ball back for the next 4 minutes. Buffalo brilliantly executed a 4-minute drill.
I want to bring this up. Look, the Colts versus the Minnesota Vikings went into overtime, right? But it was 39-36. Kirk Cousins threw for 460 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Matt Ryan only threw for 182 and 1 touchdown, and it went into overtime. So stats really don't matter in the NFL.
Yeah, and debatable, depending on the situation, the context, what you're looking at.
But if you look at that game, if you was to see that 182 yards for 1 touchdown, you would think,
right? I get it.
64 touchdowns, you would think. I had to tell you the score. You would think it was a lopsided victory.
Right, and every game has their own identity too.
So, Larry, this is an off-topic question. I know this is a Dolphins channel, but looking at it from a Dolphins perspective, do you kind of feel bad for Matt Ryan that now he's going to be labeled as a choke artist when that blown lead wasn't his fault? It was his defense.
You know why? I mean, I think that you just take it as it comes. Like, you get labeled as what you get labeled, and it's a lot of it's circumstance and context. Do I feel bad for people who are mislabeled? Always. I hate false narratives. I hate nonsense. But, like, of course I feel a little bit bad. At the same time, I think that's the way the cookie crumbles. There are guys out there labeled amazing who are not. There are guys out there labeled terrible that really weren't. They were in bad situations. So I think, you give and take what it is. It is what it is. Marino, some might call Marino a choke artist because he never won the big game. I don't think so. I think his situations, sucked, but it is what it is.
The defense wasn't that good.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Everybody gets labeled. Now, I want to bring John in because Seattle's #1 Fin fan, which I appreciate the Christmas decor because it brings Christmas decor to this whole channel, which I lack because I just wasn't going to put up the tree in this room this year. But hey, I got it on the window and it's nice and it's Christmassy, but you guys can't see that. So I like my little chestnuts roasting on an open flame decor. And then John's tree. So John, what's up, bro?
John. Before you go, John, let me bring up 3 examples.
You got to shake.
All right. Number 1, John Elway said they couldn't win a big one because he was 0-3 in Super Bowls, won his last 2. Andy Reid, before he won that Super Bowl, they say he couldn't win a big one because he was in 4 NFC championships, 2 AFC championships, couldn't get to the Super Bowl. He finally did it. And as a matter of fact, Shula, before that perfect season, was also labeled he couldn't win a big one, and then he went undefeated, won the Super Bowl. So I take labels with a grain of salt.
True.
I'm sorry, John, go for it.
Good examples.
Yeah, great example, Shake. Look, first of all, Larry, you got to give us a little warning when you want to go on a Tuesday, because I got to get like my phone all charged up, and we got to get the headphones ready to go. So I went in like straight up panic mode, like, oh damn, Larry's going on.
Yes.
So
anyway. I do apologize for that, sir. I put on little posts, but no one sees them, and then some of the videos this week, but they're at the end. Like I got to do better, but I apologize. That was a mix up. I didn't decide till like yesterday.
Yeah, frankly, I got to set you on my alarm because I don't even get notifications from you. To be frank, so
we got to fix that.
Yeah,
that's
something's up with that.
Yeah.
But hey, look, you know what? I mean, this keeps coming up, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I just want to get down to the brass tacks here. I believe we are making excuses for not winning the game. And specifically, I'm going to call out this 3rd and 1 situation. Look, guys, we rushed for over 180 yards. Phenomenal game rushing. We're at 3rd and 1. You can call pass plays. The wide receivers are open in these scenarios. We can hit these. And here's the problem. We're not converting them. So we're calling it out as an issue. And really, at the end of the day, who's not converting it? The play is called, whether it's a run or pass. If it's a pass, it's up to our QB to make the play and to complete it, and we can move on to our next set of downs, okay? So, but we keep placing a lot of blame with Mike McDaniels. And to be completely frank, I've seen a really interesting offense this year. I've seen explosive offense. I have never seen this type of, well, I don't think that it's been a long time since we've seen this type of offense for the Miami Dolphins. Yet we're
Balanced.
already, and we're going to, what's that, Tony?
Balanced.
It's not been balanced.
I don't think it's been that balanced. I think we've been extremely pass heavy, but I think we've been schemed. I mean, we have the assets to be pass heavy. We have some really good wide receivers, and we spent a lot of money. We should be utilizing that especially Tyreek Hill, which we have. He's been phenomenal. But I just want to get back to the point here is we're placing blame. And we're really honing in on this third down stuff, and we're putting it on Mike McDaniels. And I don't think that's fair. I actually think this guy's been a very good coach. I saw a quarterback. Granted, there were some drop passes. I've seen a ton of dropped interceptions in the past. But we went 17 of 30. All right. And I got the stat here, about 234 yards of passing with 180 rushing yards. Guys, Tua had the support. We were leading the game by 8 points. Surprisingly, to me, I thought we were just going to get freaking slammed out of this thing from the first quarter on, drug up and down across the field. To my surprise, we were competitive. I believe that's due to the run game. But the run game opens up the pass game. And when we're sitting at 3rd and 1 and where we're running that well, the pass is open. So that's where I'm at. And I don't think it's fair that we're putting all the blame on Mike McDaniel. I think Tua, he wasn't good enough. He did not perform to Josh Allen's level. Whether that's fair or not, Josh Allen's the standard in this division. And if we can't meet that standard, then what are we doing?
I mean, I see that, but the thing is, it's like you don't want to put it on Mike McDaniel, but you want to put it on Tua. But yet if you look at the complexion of the game, the passes Tua threw, 2 touchdown passes, 1 to Hill, 1 to Waddle, a clear drop in the end zone. In the snow, in the fourth quarter, you're saying the run sets up the pass. Well, on that drive, the pass set up the run because he passed us down there in the blizzard. Now you're looking at a game where we're running so damn well, and you have a coach who on 3 out of the 4 most pivotal third down plays and short does not call a run unless you can show me a specific example on one of those plays where there was a wide open receiver that Tua just missed rather than a guy covered up right past the sticks, which was almost every one of them. Then it looks like if you're being logical, you got to put more of it on McDaniel for not calling those runs rather than Tua, or you got to just chalk it up and say, yeah, Tua overall statistically didn't play great. But I don't think you could say, well, I don't want to blame McDaniel because he's done well in the past. Tua had a good game pretty much, but stat-wise, he didn't. And when McDaniel called plays, he probably shouldn't have called Tua didn't execute. You got to show me that there was something Tua didn't execute properly on those plays, because otherwise it looks like McDaniel should have just ran the damn ball. I mean, if you could take it back, John, would you call a run there, or would you say, no, I want to pass?
Honestly, I don't know, because it's hard for me to – are you saying that the play that McDaniel called had no wide open receivers? Like,
I don't know. You got to show me a one. I know that the line was – I know they were running at 8 yards a clip. So I know that, and I know that on the screen, Tyreek was covered up instantaneously. And I know that on 2 of the other incompletions, there was somebody on the receiver that was the read to go to beyond the sticks, like white on rice. I know that.
And I'm not arguing. I believe the run game was on absolute fire, okay? But at the same time, I'm saying it is okay on a 3rd and 1 when you're running it really well to hit them with – it's logical to think that we can expose this team and maybe hit them for a real big play. So I don't want to place like and I see what you're saying, Larry, because by the way I'm explaining it, I am putting all the blame on Tua. And frankly, I tend to do that. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at it, and I don't think Tua played good enough for us to win the game. And that's my problem with the situation.
Okay.
And that's where I'm at.
I hear you, but I'm just looking at the game. We lose by 3 points on a last-second field goal. Tua gets us down there the last drive of the game in the blizzard, throwing good passes, where it's 3rd and short. We don't get it. And then he's pissed and he's complaining because we punt going to the sideline. He thinks he could make a 4th down play. I just don't see how when the game shakes out by a last-minute score where they had the ball for 6 minutes, whatever it was, and our defense couldn't make a stop either, that we're putting this on Tua. When Tua, he didn't throw any picks. Allen had a turnover. He didn't throw any picks. When he was asked to execute, he executed, except for those 3rd and 1s. I agree, but I'm looking at the plays. I'm not seeing him miss anybody. It's closer to the red zone, so it's not like we're going to hit anybody long and burn them. We don't need to at that point. And we even could kick a field goal later in the game if we get a little bit closer. I'm not saying Mike McDaniel. I'm saying it sucks. Sometimes you take an L. I think they all did pretty well, but if you got to look one place we really probably could have pulled the game out, I'm looking to McDaniel only because I think those plays were pivotal and they would have gotten us closer in the red zone, whereas I don't see anything from Tua that he left on the field.
He could have ran, right?
Let me put it in this
Could
perspective.
he have? You got to show me that. You got to show me that. You got to show me a gap that he failed to run through. You can't,
That's fair. And you know what? You're going to challenge me to it, Larry. It's going to be hard for me to show you this. I'll tell you what. Let me send you some clips, and then you can put an update to this post. I'll send those to you, all right?
Okay.
And I'll show you on those 3rd and 1s where we had some openings.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
And let me put it in this perspective. Okay, let's say you got a builder, right? And you got him building a dresser. And the guy who did, or a house, and the guy that the guy who got the blueprint, the guy who designed the house gave you shitty blueprints. And you built the house specifically and you followed the blueprints to a T. Is it the builder's fault or the guy who came up with the blueprint?
Well, then that's the blueprint guy's fault. But that's if he executes it to a T. Like, so the screen to Tyreek was McDaniel's fault because it was executed. But then again, it was Tyreek's fault because Tyreek didn't fake it well. And I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, this game is not the game where I'm looking at really anybody and saying, yo, blow it. Like, we're just going to lose sometimes. But I do think McDaniel should have called a better game at 3rd and short. That's just my thing. Could Tua have matched Allen's stats? Maybe. But now you're looking at, look at that Shore touchdown to Sherfield. I mean, is anybody disputing that was on Tua's end, that was a touchdown? That's only one less touchdown than Allen then. And it wasn't like it was, it's up in the air. Like, I'm not even bringing up the Tyreek touchdown because that one you could go either way. But this was a sure thing. And that would have been a couple more yards and 4-3 touchdowns. Are we still so sure that he's the primary reason and that Allen so vastly outplayed him? Like, that's what I'm saying. Looking at the play.
Well, let's look at the play. To me, it was absolutely a catchable ball. Was it a perfect ball? I don't think so. I don't think you draw it up. I don't think you draw it up to where your wide receiver is completely lateral with the field, diving into the end zone trying to make a play.
I think you
kind of hit him. Man, I've seen Wes Welker come across on many slants, and he's standing up, taking right at that goal line. I mean, not diving to the ground. I mean, Larry, we disagree on this. I don't think that was a perfect ball. But I think it was a very catchable ball for an NFL wide receiver. Should have been a touchdown. Could Tua have helped him? I think so. I don't think it was perfect.
That's interesting. I want to take a poll on that because I'm pretty sure the defender was draped over him, and the best place to put it was right there close to the ground. As much as you've seen Welker hitting that slant, how many times have you seen that guy in the goal line fall down and catch it across the league? All the time.
Well, Welker doesn't drop those, right? So, I mean, to your point, it should have been caught. I mean, I'd love to hear what this poll thinks, but yeah, I don't think it was.
Unless it's that Super Bowl, then Giselle calls you out on it. Remember?
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
let me actually bring up a play, Larry, and this was a debate from what we had last week, and I had mentioned. I had mentioned that Tua doesn't hit his deep ball, like he doesn't hit it like he should. And what I observed during this weekend is over the middle, the guy could hit guys in stride as they're running like these long crossers. But on these outside go routes, all right, what I'm seeing is receivers are constantly having to slow down, adjust their bodies to make the catch, and then they almost get tackled instantly. There was a play in that game where Tua made a pass and it was caught, but it was short. Our guy Waddle had to slow down. If he hits Waddle in stride, we're talking touchdown. Now we are now talking the same level of Allen, all right? Well, then we are talking potential for 4 touchdowns. But that's not even a play we're calling out. That is a missed opportunity. That is a missed touchdown. And that is part of my
I mean,
so granted
okay,
we
we could do that. I mean, we could do that, and we could look at any quarterback. We could look at Josh Allen, and you can show me if every single pass is exactly perfect in stride down the field, and then we could look at Tua's percentage versus every great quarterback in the league, and we could see if Tua's at the bottom of the league in long balls because he doesn't hit in stride. Because I'm telling you right now, there's no quarterback in the league that hits every single one of them, and if that's where we're down to, like he slowed down on one of his touchdown passes. Meanwhile, the other one was perfectly in stride across the middle so that Waddle could finish his route, and the other one was on the outside to hell, a little shorter but perfectly in stride. But okay, Waddle's. And I looked at it. I know the play you're talking about. Waddle slowed a millisecond down a little bit, like he slowed his stride to half a stride and caught it.
Touchdown, Larry.
Okay.
If he hits him in stride,
you're right.
he got
So
tackled.
look,
We didn't
you're right.
convert. That was a 3-point.
I don't know. Was that did that drive stall?
I believe we turned
I
that
don't know
into
if that
3
drive stalled or
points,
not.
and it should have been 7.
But he wasn't wide open on that play either.
He had burnt his guy. He had the length.
Like, I'm thinking of Ryan Tannehill when Mike Wallace had the length by like 10, 15 yards and stopped and ran back. This is where he has the length by 3 yards and he winds up catching it with 1 yard. I mean, what are we asking for? It's like, you know, if the pilot never has a bump on the landing, we'd be good. If, you know, the lawyer never lost a case, if LeBron was 100% from the field, I mean, what are we, or if LeBron was 92% from the field instead of 75, I mean, what are we?
My point is these are the differences between wins and losses. And we lost. And that is my point here. We are not winning these big games, and it comes down to a game of inches. And we are just a little bit off. And that's my point here. We are not.
But was Josh Allen more accurate to a centimeter than Tua, and that's why they won? Or did the Bills execute a perfect 4-minute drill, and we were pretty much tit for tat before that? Allen's got better running ability. No one's saying Allen's not more athletic. But it's got to be, for that to be the reason that he's not as good as Allen, and that's why we lost, and to bring up that play, you got to show me that Allen was pinpoint accurate on long balls or whatever all day, which isn't the case. Allen also coughed up the ball. He has a running ability to it, just doesn't have, is never going to have. And that's true.
Well, that's one X factor
he
right
there.
He
coughed it up twice, Allen. Okay, I mean, but okay, fine, that's an X factor. So I'm saying, if you got a chance, you got to be like top 6 quarterbacks in the league. Who are you going for that does everything better than Tua, that's going to hit that long ball, run over everybody and everything else? You know, how are you finding them, and who is he? Because they're not out there that much. There's like 4 of them in the whole league.
I know, and I want to turn it over and let KP jump in. I would just say this: I know they don't grow on trees. Okay, I also don't think we got one of those, and that's my point here. I don't think Tua is.
I don't either.
One of those, and so then what are we? Then we're in this perpetual Dolphin trend of not winning a championship. I don't think Tua's ever. KP, I'll turn it over before I get too far.
No,
KP, welcome you to the show, man. This homeboy KP, he is one of those dudes that I could listen to him talk about whatever subject, man, and I could whatever subject I don't care what it is, man.
Cool.
I could listen to this guy talk for hours, bro. What's up, KP?
Man? What's on your mind?
Hey, thank you, Shake, and thank you, Larry K, for letting me on here.
No problem.
And hey, John, just want to say, man, I tend to agree with you, right? And I've taken a beating for trying to discuss that very point, because it's obvious that Tua has improved. It's obvious that he has the right attitude as an individual and trying to be the best that he can be, right? There's you have to root for that kid, for a kid like that to be successful. But at the same time, what I've been arguing all year long is that there has to also be room for an objective evaluation of his potential as our quarterback long-term going down the line, right? Now, make no mistake, I want us to be successful this season, and I want him to be successful this season. He's shown improvements in a range of different areas, right, across the board this season. But I still think that you bring up an essential point here on whether he is that long-term guy, because, and I'll end here, when it comes down to winning time, the great quarterbacks make critical plays. They may have been 0 for 6 leading up to that point. They may have had a terrible first half. But when it comes down to that fourth quarter, they're laser sharp and they're performing at winning times, right? And I think that's kind of what we're getting at here with Tua. 3 years in, maybe being unfair to him. Maybe he'll develop this year 4, year 5, a little bit later down the line. But when it comes time for winning time, sometimes that means you make an audible. Sometimes that means you break the play, right? And you do something unconventional, but you make the play that's needed to win the game at critical times. And I think that's kind of what we're hoping to see from Tua that we haven't seen consistently yet. Granted, he's made a ton of improvements. He's done himself proud. I'll end there. But
All right, so let me ask you this: is Patrick Mahomes a great quarterback?
Yeah, precisely for that ability.
Was he in the Super Bowl? Was he in the Super Bowl last year?
Yeah. Didn't they beat Buffalo to get to the Super Bowl last year? No, it was Rams versus.
No, sir.
It was they lost to the Bengals.
Right.
Oh, he lost to Joe Burrow. So is he not winning
another
consistent?
good quarterback.
Right.
Who'd we lose to Sunday?
We weren't in the playoffs.
Who'd we lose to?
Buffalo.
Oh, who's their quarterback?
Josh Allen.
Oh, okay. And then who did we beat week 3? Do you guys know?
Buffalo, Josh Allen.
Yeah, we beat him. So is Tua the better quarterback in week 3? Because he
No.
was pretty sharp in the fourth quarter. He found a way to win.
He was not the better quarterback in week 3.
But we won, and he found a way to win and was sharper than Allen, right?
He only had
Well,
6.
that's the thing. I think it's wrong to give wins totally to quarterbacks.
He only had
But you're
6%.
saying, hold on. A big assertion was made here that he didn't do enough to win, and only the great ones consistently do enough to win and are sharp in the fourth quarter. That was the assertion. So then the assertion that follows from that is if you lose to another great quarterback because you didn't do enough to win in the fourth quarter, you're not consistently one of those guys. But every great quarterback has lost to another great quarterback and beaten great quarterbacks at different times. Again, unless you can show me in the fourth quarter where Tua melted down or Tua missed a play that cost us the game, I just don't see the point.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying Tua's a top 4 quarterback. Tua's going to get us 17 Super Bowls. I'm not a Tua fan in that realm. I'm the one being objective saying, look at it. He played well. He didn't play as well as Josh Allen that game. We lost the game. The Bills are also very good. He did play well in the snow in the fourth quarter on the final drive. He didn't miss any throws that I recall seeing on that final drive. And yet, it's, he's not consistent enough to win the game. That's what my metric is. It doesn't make sense.
Now we got
Another point is, who's better quarterback, Jimmy G or Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers, naturally, from a pure athletic. By the way, look at the stats and rankings. Tua is top 5 this year, too. It's not even like I'm just...
San Francisco beat them last year in Green Bay in the playoffs.
I'm looking at every metric and reality in front of me. I don't have an agenda. I'm just calling it.
Q's in the house, so let me just say this and then we can turn it over. Look, Larry, you guys are driving me crazy right now. I remember we had a turnover. We got the ball on the 50-yard line. And right before it was in the fourth quarter, maybe the third. Hold on. And then we had almost a 3-and-out, but then it was a miracle from God himself came down and our punter got run into for a 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. So look, here's a perfect example. I'm not going to cuss.
Dude,
the bet on that one and got a second chance from God himself to come redeem. So here we go. Without that, this would have been a complete collapse.
What about the pass interference call that Josh Allen got after he fumbled and he went 3-and-out and failed to advance the ball a bunch of times in the second half? Does that make him a bad quarterback or not good enough?
And listen, Larry, I just want to clarify. I'm not saying I know the answer, Larry. I'm just saying there has to be room for us to discuss and have an objective
Of course.
debate. Right, that's all I'm saying.
And I agree.
I don't know.
And that's why
know.
we're having the debate, but I think the debate
Yeah.
kind of leads you down paths of tit-for-tat points, and I think the points are taking us to a place where, based on this last game at least, I just don't think that based on this last game, we could be saying, well, it's Tua. Tua's still letting us down. I think the previous 2 games, and you have 3 more. If Tua plays mediocre, subpar, and then you add it with those 2 games against San Francisco and LA at the end of the year, we miss the playoffs or he craps the bed in the playoffs. Now we're saying this kid just can't win the big game. He had a decent performance against Allen, but he still lost. Yeah, I just don't think right now, based on Sunday, we could say that. Based on the facts and the points and the arguments. That's just
we're going to the playoffs.
That's where John's
that's
argument about the perpetual trap comes in, though. I mean, how long do we wait to see that?
No,
you know what mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
I think this season really was the barometer, and it's not over yet. And he's played really well, and then he's played like trash in 2 pivotal games. We lost to Buffalo, and it was nice and all, but we could have beaten one of those other 2 teams if he didn't play like trash, and we wouldn't be in this predicament. So it's still on him. I'm just saying, based on Sunday, I didn't see that. But yeah, he played like trash in 2 games, and he's 3 more to go. He could easily fail, and we should easily be moving on or looking to bring in competition at that point if the kid craps the bed. Look, you're playing Aaron Rodgers. If he can't beat Aaron Rodgers, then he can't, we lose the Pats, or he plays the Pats iffy, and then the Jets, Mike White comes back and beats him, or he beats Mike White but then gets destroyed in the playoffs by Burrow. Yeah, we got questions.
We haven't won a game all December. All December, we have not won a single game.
Yes.
Well, we're still playing in December though, so.
Oh, because you know what? I want to send some stuff to the Patriots and Jets and just thank them so much for losing. Because them losing, almost damn near, I mean, we would have to be buffoons to not make the. I'll tell you what, if we don't make the playoffs at this point, then I'm going to fire myself as a Dolphin fan and quit rooting because it would be that bad.
It would be, but don't get ahead of yourself, John. You thought we were going to beat San Fran. Do not do this to yourself.
Larry, I would have to. If we don't make the playoffs at this point,
I mean, it's pretty bad.
It would be like I can't even honor myself by being a Dolphin fan. It would be so I'm exaggerating, of course, because I am a glutton for punishment. So I'll be a Dolphin fan till the day I die. Okay,
there you go.
Even if we miss the playoffs, which there's no chance. I almost popped a bottle of champagne today. I was like, God damn, we're in the playoffs, baby. I'm reading the stuff.
God.
Oh, dude, we're in.
John,
Larry,
my God.
Larry, you told me
80% of all Dolphins have been in that same situation.
I do believe that. I just don't want to talk about it now that we're close to, because now I'm getting nervous about that stuff, John. Damn it. Q, you're in the building. You've been very patient. We really appreciate that. What's up, Q?
What's up, Q?
What's going on, fellas? I literally just woke up just now. Until I got my phone and I looked and I saw Larry K online, and I caught you guys, having a very interesting conversation. And I just want to point out, KP, that room that for evaluation goes both ways. You want to have critiques against you, but you also want to have positive evaluation. And this past game this Sunday, man, you can't knock the kid for performing the way he did. Right? Did he play a perfect game? No, he did not play a perfect game. And man, Larry, I respect you for. And I know you're not a Tua guy, bro. And I respect you even more for keeping it objective. You were keeping it objective all the way. Because I saw some passes where Josh Allen, he sailed a few touchdowns over Gabriel Davis and Diggs. Would have been 3 touchdowns and maybe 3 touchdowns if he threw those perfectly. Remember those two touchdowns he sailed over Diggs? He just overthrew him just a bit.
I vaguely remember, but I'm sure everybody misses throws, and he wasn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think we're all just nitpicking, and it's okay to nitpick, but to make it to the point where it's to the extreme, like it's Tua and this, like no, I watched the game same as you. I didn't see that. I saw the kid, he was still fighting, putting up the good fight, and man, it was a good game. But the irony, right? The irony is this game, it didn't hurt as much as the Niners and the Chargers game.
Because we looked like crap in those games. Yeah,
it should have hurt because it's a division rival.
It's because listen, if we had won against one of those teams, this would have hurt really bad because we would have been flying high. But because we look so damn pathetic the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
just
yeah.
looking pretty good makes us feel good, which that sucks. You don't want, but it is what it is. That's why it doesn't hurt this bad.
Yeah,
We're like,
I
there's
get
hope.
you.
There's hope.
And I
Which
think
I agree isn't good
what
enough,
people,
but-
yeah, I think what people saw in the Niners game and the Chargers game, it wasn't that they lost. It was actually the way they lost, the way the Dolphins lost, looking like they couldn't, they weren't in the fight, looking like they didn't have a chance.
And I think that's where I am, is even when you talk about the quarterback. Like, I'm not in a place where I'm like, this kid is going to be Dan friggin' Marino and all this Mark Duper hype and that we had and all this other stuff. And, watch out, Josh Allen, who's your dad? I definitely ain't saying. What I'm saying is, I was in a place for 2 weeks where I was like, we can't win at all. Like, we're sub top 16. This team is complete fakes. And now I'm like, no. Like, we can win big games. We can be contenders with this team and coach if we clean up some things, and sometimes we're going to lose some games. That's where I'm at now, where I wasn't there before the game. I thought we were going to get clobbered in the cold, in the snow, everything else. So I'm just like a little more confident overall. But I'm by no means saying, this team's a contender, this quarterback's amazing. There's a certain skill set that I think does work to win, and he's got it. And he showed he still can do it in the cold. That's all.
No, I've said this on many other panels, and I've said this after watching this game. I don't know who to blame, because it came down to the wire. It came down to the tiniest bit of execution, and that's what it was, right? And that's what I think. Like everybody, despite missed opportunities, hell, the Bills had missed opportunities.
Yes,
right?
Yes. But then they had one that they made at the end of the game as a
right,
team. But Allen, too. Allen gets credit. Like, he won the game at the end, and we didn't. And Tua didn't on 3rd and short. And then there's other games where, like Baltimore or Buffalo, Tua and the team won the game at the end. I mean, it's just back and forth,
Yeah.
Larry,
but it's a...
Go ahead,
KP.
You want to finish?
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask a question. What do you say about the idea that just as a fan base, we're so quarterback starved, right? For so many years, we've been in the desert when it comes to talented, winning quarterback play, that sometimes we may be overreacting to what our standard plays from Tua. Like, he had 3 touchdowns, right? When you consider the touchdown passes he did throw, right? We want to give him this amount of credit for making those throws, but were those throws really that impressive, that quarterback dominant a play? And isn't that the rubric that throw to Tyreek was?
Yeah, the Tyreek throw was gorgeous. Like, it was one of the better throws. Yeah,
no doubt. But again, I think what's missing here, and going back to John's critique, is when things are on the line in the 4th quarter and your quarterback has to break code and make that winning play to extend a drive, right? We saw Purdy do that to us in that San Francisco game when Jalen Phillips was in his face and he converted that 3rd down. That's the kind of play that I think we haven't seen enough of from Tua, and I think that's where the criticism keeps creeping back in. He's executing our offense at a high level, but on those opportunities, I think we still need to see more.
I agree that he's not making plays off schedule. I do. And I think a lot of these great quarterbacks do. And I think especially players like Aaron Rodgers have won playoff games and maybe titles because of their off-schedule ability. But I will say, but Tom Brady, when a play broke down, jumped on the floor and curled up in fetal position. And he's won the most of anybody. So I think there's different ways to play this game and different ways to build your team.
Larry, I'll let it get you for that. He's 40 years old.
No, when he was young, he was never a running off schedule guy.
Okay, I thought you were about to say like this past
No,
weekend.
I'm saying when he was in the midst of winning.
Okay,
He was a pocket passer who did things on schedule more often than not, like 90% of the time. And when it broke down, the Giants beat him in a Super Bowl because he was too off schedule and being hit too much. And whenever he got rattled and got hit, he was never that good. And that's the only way you could beat him. But yet he still won all those titles because there's a way to do it with a highly efficient quarterback who can sling from the pocket, but is not the uber athletic. And here's the thing.
Great
if
point.
you watch my history as a commentator on this channel, that is my argument from jump about why I didn't like Tua, because he's not going to put the team on his back and on a broken play run around and will the team to make it. And I hated the critique that, well, he needs everybody around him. He needs everything perfect. I said, no, great quarterbacks elevate those around him. But this year, what I'm seeing is he may not be the guy when a play completely breaks down to run over here, run over there, and then off his back foot, launch across his body and catch the ball on the other side of the field. And I still would draft Justin Herbert if I could go back right now. I would still draft Justin Herbert. But that all being said, it has become evident to me this season and Sunday and in pivotal games early in the year against Baltimore and against Buffalo that his particular skill set with the players around him, not only do they elevate him, he also elevates them. Tyreek Hill's having the best season he's ever had. He does elevate them. And this skill set can be very lethal. And even if he can't make plays off schedule, and he's still not going to be better, because I always said Peyton Manning's better than Tom Brady as a pure quarterback. Always said that, because he ran the team. You take him off the team, the Colts are the worst in the league. You take Brady off the team, they were 11-5. I still think Peyton's the best pure, but it doesn't mean you can't win titles. Doesn't mean you can't be a great quarterback. Tua's stats are all top 5 pretty much, bare minimum top 10. So I'm not saying he's great or I would prefer him over Herbert or anybody. I'm just saying he's good enough to win and he's pretty good. That's it.
And
go
one
ahead,
thing
Anthony. Oh, Shake, go ahead, Shake. Sorry.
One last thing is one good thing I could say about Tua this game is I've seen him doing a little more audibling at the line. I've seen him change up plays.
Yeah, you're right, Shake.
That's a problem too, though. That's a problem too, because what if he checked into passes? Then
Tua
it's
showed a
on
lot of
him.
grit in those
Somebody
conditions.
mentioned that to me.
In those conditions, it was a good sight to see Tua be as competitive. And my only last point is that, all quarterbacks don't have to have, mobility and be able to break the pocket. But Brady in his younger years, he was just deadly accurate. And if you slipped up, he'd kill you. He made those plays with his arm more so than his legs. But he still was a killer. He's always been a killer from year one. Brady has showed that tact. So.
Right. Anthony, go ahead. And then Cap, what up, man? Great to have you on. Guys, smash subscribe if you haven't done it, yo.
What's going on?
Anthony.
Glad.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Chilling,
thank
brother.
Thank you for having me on again. It's good. Thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate
Thanks
it.
for coming on, man.
It's
all good. Greg's at work as well. I got him in the back, Greg. He's currently in the grocery store right now.
Remember,
guy's crazy.
The last show you had, we were talking about how the Tua, I wouldn't give up on Tua. But if you see, like, a lot of people, like, how I'm not saying people jump ship, but a lot of people, they have that love-hate relationship with Tua. That's what I have. But I didn't give up on Tua. I've always said that Tua is a good quarterback. He has the potential to be great, like you said. And I said that too the last time. The players that he has on the team, they make him better. They force him to do it, like Tyreek Hill forces him to throw the deep ball because he didn't have it last season. He didn't do it. He's forcing him to do it. And you look at the last game, he played okay. He didn't out everybody, but he played good enough to get us to where we could have won the game. So we can't put it on Tua, but like everybody wanted to. We should have ran the ball. I believe that, should have did that. But if you go back to Tua had a lot of promise in him, like you said. To go back to the Baltimore game. Tua showed a lot that game. He didn't the deep ball and everything else. It wasn't enough. But we won the game with Tua. But now when we lose those 3 games, Tua's the worst person in the world. Everybody hates him. But my thing is,
and here's the thing too, though. To your point, Anthony,
sorry.
I just want to stick in just to your point. When we beat the Pats, I said, we beat them, but Tua didn't look great because he didn't. Just because we won, you got people on here that are like, anytime he wins, it's because of him. I'm like, he didn't look great. So here's the thing. If we had somehow pulled out a fluke win against the L.A. because Tyreek's fumble, and then we won, I wouldn't be here saying, well, Tua would look pretty good. But if you flip the Buffalo game from a loss to a win, all of a sudden, I think a lot more people will be happy with Tua because they're like, he looked crisp and we won, but because we lost, it's like, and I'm not accusing John of that because John has maintained his position from jump on Tua. He's never, he's acknowledged when he's good, but he's never wavered from his position. So John's he's not being reactionary at all. But some people are in this community for sure. Yeah.
The Patriots game, if you look at it, that was the beginning of the season. We got a new offense. Everybody's trying to adjust to who does what. So of course, everybody want to say that Patriots game was, Tua did horrible that game, or he did. Look, we won the game, but we had a new offense, new system. So we have to adjust to each other. Everybody didn't know each other's strengths then, and we were still trying to figure out the offensive line, figure out as far as the running backs, what are we gonna do. So I mean, it takes time, and it takes about 8 to 9 weeks till we finally like, all right, now we in mode to go. And I mean, like I said, man, we got potential to be great. I give Tua another season. You can't just throw him out to the side.
I want to see though. I want to see the end of the year first. I want to just see the next 3 games. If they look like San Fran, I'm not as convinced.
But here's the thing though, like has Tua, and like I said, I'm not a diehard Tua fan, but has Tua had as far as like who's taught him anything? He came into an organization with nobody to really teach him. We didn't have like Aaron Rodgers had like Brett Favre. You know what I mean?
Well, look, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Let Cap
because
go ahead.
He's had his father with him since day one, since jump. His father's been there to teach him everything.
His dad is not playing.
Well, wait, hold on. I'm answering your question.
Come on now.
I'm answering your question. Hold on. Now the problem is he ain't listening because his old boy told him throw the ball away. And my knock on Tua is we're coincidentally enough 2.5 games behind the Bills. That's the same amount of time he lost to injury. So he got to learn to throw the ball away and slide, and we won't be in this predicament where he's missing games again. That's costing us a playoff spot. Real simple.
That's fair too. The 3-game loss, I don't think we would have had that.
But at the same time, can we blame Tua for majority of these losses? We can't just blame Tua for these 3 losses. Half of these games it came down to the defense. Well, the offense,
my man, when it's all said and done,
probably the Bengals too, because he should have thrown that damn ball away.
When it's all said and done in December, my man, he's 1-6 career-wise.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's still December, right? He
Cap,
still have a
are
he still has
you
a
real
chance.
about that? 1-6 in December.
If I'm lying, I'm dying.
I didn't even know that. I did
There's
not.
3 more games in this. Well, there's what is there? 1 more? Actually, there's only
I hate
3
that.
more.
Crucial games is statement games.
Actually,
Wait, I'm not going to twist the stat. In crucial statement games that need to be made, he's 1-6 in December.
And
Well, no,
Shake
no,
made the great point at the beginning. What was Shake's point at the beginning?
Hold on.
Okay.
Let Anthony go and then KP.
I'm sorry. My bad, man. I apologize.
No, it's fine. Just go ahead and then KP.
At critical points, Tua, he tends to fold. But I mean, that's what's going to happen when you really haven't had the talent around it like he had now. I mean, but hey, that just comes with the game, man. You're going to have some games like that. But I just don't want everybody to be like, oh, Tua's he's the main issue why we can't get over the hump. I mean, we can't.
I think we'll know
too,
like
it's Buffalo. But Tua didn't play garbage. But I mean,
I'll say one thing,
sorry,
and I got your point, Anthony. I think everybody gets your point. One thing before I go to KP is just we're still on the hump.
Mm-hmm.
We're either over it or not, but we got 3 games and a playoff game maybe to find out. So he's either going to get it or not, and then there's going to be a big discussion. But I just don't think we're there quite now. If he'd lost to Buffalo, we still wouldn't be over it, but we'd be pretty damn close to falling off if he sucked again. But he didn't, so let's see. But now KP, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, Larry. I think I was going to make or try to at least make some of the same points you just did. But that 1-6 record is pretty damning at this point. Yeah. But like Q said, it is still in his control to fix that. You know, we got a big game coming up here on Christmas Day. So if he can make that 2-6, then, we can be confident that we're going in the right direction at that point. But then finally, I think when Shake led off the show, I think he made an excellent point, which covers everything we've been discussing here, is that the reliability of stats. A lot of people like to use stats to support or justify Tua's performance as the quarterback overall. But then what is the true meaning of those stats when it all boils down to it in the end? If you're not winning, if you're 1-6 in December, then, throw the stats out with the bathwater. You know what I'm saying?
Fair. Yeah, definitely fair.
That's like the Pro Bowl talk, bro. Everybody talks about the Pro Bowl talk. Let me ask you a question. You think Mac Jones is a Pro Bowl player?
Right. It's a popularity contest. Come on now.
Yes.
Why is everybody knocking the Pro Bowl, man? Why is everybody knocking the Pro Bowl?
And listen, I want this December narrative.
Shake, go ahead, Shake.
I'm gonna kill this December narrative because last year the only one game we lost was the Tennessee Titans. We won everyone else in December except for the Tennessee Titans. And his rookie year, he only lost the Buffalo Bill games. So,
but he lost to Vegas too.
Okay,
Really.
so sorry.
It's just that we beat him.
I'm sorry. 1-5.
I know, but not because of him. But I'll just say this: with the 1-6, and then the way he played
last year in December. So,
okay. So then that's not accurate. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly.
Well,
Did he start those games?
Let's pull it off.
Let's pull it off.
Last year we only lost. Remember, we only lost the Titans. We beat the
no. Well, what I'm saying, that's why I said don't get my stat twisted, because I said in crucial statement games.
Okay.
Yeah, big games. Yeah.
So look too. By the way, and that's why statistics can be subjective too, because you could decide which games or whatever. But I'm taking Cap at his word in his statistic because I think it's probably true. But here's the
that's
thing.
why I started by saying in statement games, because Fitzpatrick, I don't know if he started or not, but if Shake is saying that, I believe Shake.
Yeah.
No, and I agree with you, Cap. And here's the thing, though. I'm not at a place where I'm like, well, he's definitely going to dominate the rest of the games. I'm just saying, hey, Sunday he looked pretty good. I'm saying I'm encouraged, but I still don't even know. I think we'll beat Green Bay. I don't know how he's going to play. I don't know how he's going to play in New England or against the Jets with a good defense. I'm not saying I know. I'm just saying as of right now, after that game, he looked pretty good. I'm not saying what he's going to do in the next 3 games. I think he'll play well against Green Bay. I'm more encouraged he will after that game, but I don't know for a fact. And if he wets the bed 3 games, trust me, I'll be here sitting like saying the dude doesn't cut it. He won 1 game in December. He didn't even win. He played decently against Buffalo. Forget that. That's not good enough. I'll be on the train. Trust me.
Right. But see, that's the difference between when you talk about Aaron Rodgers, you know what you're going to get. You know if you give him an in, he's going to take it. Yeah. Brady, same thing. Mahomes, same thing. The jury's still out on Tua, and I think that's a fair assessment at this point.
And right now, everybody's downplaying Green Bay, but Green Bay has like the 5th ranked secondary in the league, bro. I mean, that's something we can't play around with right now, man. We cannot afford turnovers this game, bro.
True. Yeah, not at all.
Hey, I gotta head out. I gotta head back in, but I appreciate you, Larry. Hey,
appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, man.
Have a good one.
Y'all stay safe.
See you soon, Anthony. Thanks for coming on, brother. Always a pleasure, man.
Peace, Anthony. Hey, later. I got to get out of here also, guys. So, hey, thanks again, Larry.
KP,
and
great time. Great conversation. I love your whole demeanor and your points, the way you sort them out. Come back on, man. Come back on.
I try. Hey, sometimes these guys get the best of me, though. I got to admit.
But I like it. I like it, KP, though. You got your style is fits what we do well. You make good points and you make them coherently and eloquently, bro. Like, so you're right up my alley, bro. Come back anytime.
All right. Peace, guys.
Later. Yeah. Cap, what were you saying?
No, I was going to tell him that Batman's going to go live later on. If you guys want to do something later on, I think he's going to stick around later on.
Yeah. Batman, I haven't seen him in a while. I haven't talked to him in a little while. Yo, at Finn's side has just been outy. I hope they're both healthy, man, because I haven't seen them in a week. But things happen. I didn't show up for one show during the holidays, and sometimes I was sick that 1 week, so it happens. RD, what up, man? It's been a couple weeks, bro.
Yo, it's been a while, man. It's been a while. Hey, Cap. How you guys doing? Hi, John.
Yeah, I'm glad he's okay. I don't know if I had thoughts and prayers for RD. Like, where is this guy, man?
Yeah, no, Wednesdays have just been terrible timing constantly, right? So it's today I was available and you were on, and I was like, yo, I gotta get on this. It's been a while and we've seen a lot. We've seen the real type of competition that we're gonna be facing when it's playoff atmosphere, and it's new. This is, the first couple of years, you knew we weren't going to compete in high leverage moments just because we just weren't ready.
Yes.
Now I feel like we are, but we shoot ourselves in the foot constantly. And I think in Tua and McDaniels, they're overthinking it. And not only are they overthinking it, but they're letting the stress get to them. And they're not being themselves. And it's, I look at the Buffalo game, the way we lost that game, the way Tua was playing in that game at times was very bipolar. And the way McDaniels was calling it in key situations was, again, sort of like rookie mistakes that he just can't get over. Getting away from the run game on consistent basis when he doesn't have to. It's as if the entire year he's had a chip on his shoulder that he has to prove
you read my mind, bro.
You read
my mind, bro.
You're a
Yeah.
reflection of your coach, bro. And our coach right now is bipolar. That's a perfect example of what you just said, bro.
Like Tua right now, he's basically trying to prove to the world that Tua is elite, and he wants to put him in every single situation when he's the guy making the key.
Bro, great point.
Great point.
Plays.
Beautiful point.
Very great point. Very great point.
And the plays are weak as fuck too. So he's putting Tua like he wants Tua to succeed, but he's giving him like situationally he's putting him in a way where the blocking like does not do its job. People are not getting off their block so they can actually catch this damn ball, or they're dropping the football, or Tua is fucking up by completely misthrowing it, and it's as if being on the road, you know, got him all flustered, being, you know, away from home, right? It's been 3 weeks now. The weather did not help, but you know what? It's just they were in such a high, and now they're just overthinking everything.
Yes.
That I feel that, you know, we'll see what happens, how the season finishes, but right now I just feel like they need to come back home. Thankfully, we're home for 2 out of 3 games. We're still in a playoff position. Okay. I'm still not sold as far as, you know, where this team is going to go, you know, come this year or in the future, just because I haven't seen the consistency I need to, you know, the Buffalo Bills, Mahomes, Joe Burrow, they're going to do it year in, year out. You can feel it. They just have that it mentality. And we have it in spurts, but that's it. If we haven't put it all together, I think we have the talent to do it. And I think we can add more to the talents, right? But we are like, we know our deficiencies, and obviously injuries have played a big factor in our defense, especially this year. But to me, I think Coach McDaniels just has to be more of a team player rather than a Tua player right now. And it's adamant now.
And not to interrupt, but I just want to piggyback off your point right there. I heard him today, and he really made me cringe, honestly. I was making like an egg sandwich on a Portuguese roll, getting ready to go to work, and I got McDaniel's presser on this morning. And I'm listening to him, and they're like, well, what did you think of Tua's play? He seemed to handle the elements okay. Now, all he has to say is, yeah, you know, I told you I have confidence in the kid. He executed pretty well. We left some stuff on the field.
Did you say
but
a
he
Portuguese
didn't.
roll?
Yeah.
Is it good?
So up here, you got like hard rolls with poppy seed rolls.
I didn't hear that. Larry, can you say what was the takeaway from McDaniel's press
I'll
conference?
tell you, yeah, right now. And then Cap, it's just it's a good roll. It's just a really good fresh roll. That's all. We got a lot of Portuguese people up here in Newark, so they make rolls, and it's something in Jersey we have. But it's like Italian bread, but it's like softer. But anyway, McDaniel said, he had the chance to just say, because they asked, what did you think of Tua's play? He seemed to do well, like in the elements or whatever. McDaniel could have just said, oh, yeah, I had confidence in him. I told you it was a bounce-back game. He played pretty well. But instead, he made me cringe because he said, and like I said, you know, the last 2 games, we lost as a team. You know, it wasn't all on Tua, blah, 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 and we won as a team. And while he's got a little bit of a point, like I didn't see the need to go back and defend Tua even in his crap games and say, oh, but, you know, it wasn't all on him, but it wasn't, like, just admit, like, just say, yeah, he played well. Move on. Like, what is he coddling the 2 bad performances? Tua even complained in one of his pressers. I don't know if you guys saw. He said, I go to Bevel when I need some actual feedback because McDaniel's too positive. That's not great. So just to piggyback, RD, on what you said, McDaniel sometimes is too invested in the Tua
But
problem.
Larry, don't you agree, though?
Hold on,
don't you agree, though, that it's like the coaching excuse? Like RD said, the injury excuse, the O-line excuse, the referee excuse. What other excuses we got here that we've been using year after year after year that just keeps sounding the same every year, bro?
Well,
now we're using the referees are rigging the games and stuff like that. Now I heard that all day today.
People are saying dumb stuff like, I'm saying, look, we lost 2 games, and those 2 games are on Tua. The season's not over. I don't think we lost the Bills game because of him, so it's not an excuse. Just like, I think we just lost the Bills game because you're going to lose some games straight up. Like, they beat us by a field goal at the end. we beat them in a close game last time. You're gonna
It's
lose
just,
sometimes.
why
Like
is it
I'm
we're
not
always
mad
having the
about that.
same conversation in December, man?
Well,
Why is it we're always having the same conversation talking about fighting and scratching for the last spot?
What we got to see what we do in the next 3 games. I mean,
Well, Cap,
unfortunately, the Bills are better than us right now.
Yeah, no, and that first of all, Cap, we're going to make the playoffs. I don't see any issue with that whatsoever. But here's the main takeaway from the Bills game is every Dolphin fan right now knows the Bills are better than us because they have Josh Allen. And we actually feel pretty good because we went toe to toe with them. We had an 8-point lead in the fourth quarter. We're like, shoot.
So, John, let me ask
we
you
can beat
this:
these guys.
if the Jets
They
win
also
and
have
we
a better
lose,
tight end.
if the
the
Jets
way we
win and
use
we
them.
lose, doesn't that eliminate us from the playoffs?
In the last game, well, I'll tell you what. If the Jets beat us,
No, I'm talking about if the Jets win Sunday and we lose Sunday, doesn't that eliminate us from the playoffs?
no.
Why
in
not?
fact,
Why not?
actually, and the Jets play
Because we have the
Thursday night,
tiebreaker if
and
we beat
they
them.
might lose.
They're a game behind
actually,
us.
They have the tiebreaker.
The Jets play
They
Thursday night.
have the tiebreaker, Larry.
No,
The Jets have the
Wilson.
tiebreaker.
Yeah, but only if they beat us the end of the year. If we beat them, it doesn't
No,
matter.
dude. If we
Yes.
lose Sunday, we'll have the same record as them if they
I
win.
know. It doesn't matter,
Cap,
though. The
Cap.
season's not over till the end
Yeah,
of the
you
year.
still have to win the last 2 games.
We're not
I
out
get
of the
what you're
play.
saying. I
Yeah.
get what you're saying, but for that week, you're out of the playoff.
Yeah, for that week, yeah.
Oh, okay. But here's the thing: the Jets are playing Thursday night. They're going up against a scrappy Jaguars team
I
right
think they
now.
lose. They're playing
I
Zach
think the
Wilson.
Jets lose. I think the Jets lose. And honestly, and this is the amazing thing about this year. We all thought it was different. You know what? Turns out it is different because we're just going to walk into the play. We're on a 3-game lose streak. And right now we're sitting here high on a horse because we are almost guaranteed a spot into the playoffs unless we completely crap all over the bed.
That is
frankly, we did in San Francisco and in LA, we crapped all over the bed. But we're all anticipating our QB is going to show up, and we're going to definitely look. If Tua shows up these last 3 games, we win. There's no doubt about it in my mind. The only way we lose this game is if our starting QB comes out and doesn't perform to the way he could perform. All right. So anyway, this is a different year. We're definitely going to make the playoffs. The Jets, boy. I actually thought that we might even rest our players week 18, frankly. So
I expect our defense to start lighting it up now, starting at home and being more consistent in key situation. We're not playing Josh Allen. We're not playing Justin Herbert. We're not on the road, and the quarterbacks we're facing have struggled all year long, and that's including Rodgers. And I just feel like right now how many games can you lose in a row, dude? Like they have to get it. They have to get it.
That young excuse is getting old too because the only young guy on this team I think is Javon Holland. Everybody's up there.
No, I'm not gonna make any excuses if we don't make the playoffs or we collapse. Like I'm just waiting till then though. I'm not making any excuses. So that's gonna be
right now the book is still out of McDaniels, right? Like not only do you have to make the playoffs, but I don't want to be scorched in that first week. I don't want to be 45-0 or 45-10 or down by halftime. Like I don't give a shit how you get it done. Make that game competitive. I don't care what happens, who wins or who loses. But if that thing is not going in the fourth quarter, 1-score game, like I'm going to tell you straight up, that 3-week period where Tua wasn't in-house and we were a shit show, and you look at now when we're facing competition that it's, up to par with us and how we've competed, and you look at that first game in the playoffs, if we get there, of course, and we get destroyed, I mean, what else do you need to see? Like, making the playoffs, it's not like, oh, yeah, this is it now, Super Bowl next. No,
I agree.
It's just one step, one big step that you need. But how you compete, I mean, you look at Cincinnati, what they did. You look at the Buffalo Bills first year they made the playoffs with Josh Allen, what they did. You look at Mahomes, what he was doing. Dude, you show up, you ball out immediately. Now, things can, it is what it is. You're going to face a high seed because you might be the 7th seed, and you're going to face the 2nd seed, and that's fine. But you got to compete. I don't want to see weather. I don't like nothing. That fourth quarter, we were a shit show. Like
I
we
agree.
were, and we were making
Oh.
the throws. We were making the throws, and I was like skeptical that Tua's not going to make the throws because it's snowing.
But he
And
did.
he was throwing them, and he was
Yeah.
making them.
Yes.
But the coaching had to get in the way.
Yes, that I
And I'm
agree.
like-
The coaching.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, how many times do we have to shoot ourselves in the face? Even when we get it right, we get it wrong.
Yes.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. Now listen, let Alexander go on because he just popped on. I want to give him some
Hey,
space to
listen,
talk.
Larry.
What's up, brother? Yeah.
Larry,
Well,
I got to get out of here, but I want to thank you for having me up here and this
Yeah, Q.
interesting conversation.
You're welcome
we're going on.
anytime, my brother. Anytime, my brother. Thank you.
Take care, Q.
All right,
Q,
Miles. All right, fellas.
Hell yeah.
What's up?
Hey, Q.
Alex, what up?
Yeah. I'll be there.
What's going on?
All right, fellas.
What's going on, guys? We're just right now I'm watching Knicks game, so it's halftime.
Gotcha.
Right
So
now.
what's good? What's good, bro?
So-
What's on your mind?
Well,
Not the Knicks.
Yeah, man, we won 7 in a row.
please.
Yeah, they're winning. They're winning. People are very hyped.
I mean, so here's the thing. I just popped in, caught a little bit of what you guys are talking about the playoffs. I think if we get in the playoffs, we can make some noise. You know,
Yeah.
in my opinion, because this offense this offense once it gets going, it can't be stopped. You know, the only thing McDaniel's just got to get better at his play calling. That's all it is. And I'm
Unless
not
it's 3rd and 1. If it's 3rd and 1, then he can't be stopped. Like it's crazy.
I'm not off the McDaniel bandwagon.
He's kind of right.
Yeah,
on
you're
that.
not Alex. You're not off it yet, right? You're saying we have a possibility of making noise in the playoffs because we could beat anybody. Yeah.
I agree. I'm not off the McDaniel bandwagon. I agree. I understand he's a young head coach.
That's what I'm saying.
He's
This
a
team is
rookie
so
head coach. He
bipolar,
makes
Ale.
mistakes. Everybody makes
This
mistakes.
team is so bipolar, Ale, that we can make noise. I mean, I don't doubt us making the playoffs. It's just you're picking a crappy time not to be on the same page. Like who was it? RD said we're overthinking right now, and that's what a bipolar person does is overthink.
But that's true, Cap. But here, and also here's the thing. And I'm going to go back to this. In the 6 losses, it's all been on the offense. In all 6 losses, it's been the offense only. That's been the issue in those 6 losses.
Yeah, that's what the Big O said. You remember that?
Yeah, he's been saying he's right.
And the defense, you know, I think Boyer with what he has done a heck of a job with what he has.
I agree
You know,
with that.
and I really don't. I understand the Boyer slander, but I don't understand the Boyer slander. You know, if you know what I mean. But
Although one thing, that 3-17, I don't know which quarter it was, but it was pivotal in the first half. In the Buffalo Bills game, that was a bullshit call to have a prevent defense and not send a fucking blitz, letting Josh Allen 7 hours there, and then they get a touchdown, and then they get another score like to end the first half. I mean, come on, man! Like, the domino effect of overthinking shit has gotten us to the point where we are just shooting ourselves in the foot constantly, thinking that we are the favorites. We're not the favorites. We're not favorites in those games, so we should just go play with house money constantly, rather than be like, oh, we might lose the game. No, you've lost 3 in a row.
I agree with that.
There's a lot of positives on defense. There's a lot of positives on defense, and I can take from it. Christian Wilkins is one, Phillips is another, and Kader Kohu has been another because he has, for an undrafted free agent cornerback, he has outplayed Xavier
I agree,
Howard.
bro. I don't know why people are on him.
Hear his name all the time.
He's outplayed Howard in
He's
the
always
season
balling,
so
bro.
far.
Bro, he took on Josh Allen head to head, bro. We wouldn't be in that position if we would have got Roquan Smith, bro.
Guys, X is finished, by the way. Like he's burned out.
You better
He's
not say
done.
that now, because he's going through some legal crap right now too. He might not play.
Jamal Dean could be a possibility in the offseason.
We're gonna need to bolster up corner. Trill's coming back. You know, we're gonna need to draft somebody. We're gonna see what happens. Lakers, what up, man?
What's up, Lakers?
What's up?
Hey,
What's
I know you be watching my Knicks beat up on Golden State right now.
Yeah, man. I just got home, so I'm trying to catch up and see what's going on with your Knicks, man. But hey, you need to tell your Knicks to go give Cam Reddish to the Lakers, man. I want him.
Well, while you're at it, tell the Jets to give us sauce, okay? While we're just
I'll
talking about things.
I'll take that. I'll take that, Larry K. and RP.
Hell yeah. That would have been nice, but
yeah. Go. I was gonna say real quick. I'm sorry, Lakers all day before you go. I apologize, bro. I was gonna say, listen, I trust Greer in the draft to get a star corner because he found Kohu, he found Xavier Howard.
I agree with you.
So I have confidence that he can find another star corner in the draft.
And we're gonna need to. I think that's where we go. I think we
I
go
know.
linebacker, corner. Linebacker, corner,
We need to go
linebacker, corner. The
first.
whole draft. That's it.
We need a corner first.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then the
corner
linebacker.
first, then linebacker. Agreed.
And
I can't believe Byron Jones is not playing, bro. I cannot.
Yo, me
believe that.
either, dude.
Hey,
I lost all faith in him. I said he wasn't coming back in the bye. He wasn't coming back. I don't see him coming back. I could be wrong, but I don't see him coming back this year, man.
Oh, he done.
I don't even think he's
Hey,
around.
He's a bum. He's a bum.
He is a bum.
No, he's done.
I think there might be some truth to that rumor that went on that he, hurt himself, but then was holding out because he didn't want to get traded or whatever, and just content to sit there and then sign somewhere.
All right.
I don't like
Larry, I got to bring this up, okay? I
Yes.
mean, we started the episode out with talking about it. I got to bring it up again. I have heard on this very stream us talking about basically our play calling, and that's the reason it ain't good enough. Do we have some specific instances other than the 3rd and 1? Like,
The third and ones to me is the biggest, dude. And that screen to Tyreek when we were way back, it wasn't 3rd and 1. It was like 2nd down. We lost like 3 yards. That was a dumb play call, yo.
That was stupid.
It was terrible.
Stupid.
Look,
He was almost picked up.
He really had some questionable play calls, bro. He just did.
Look, the fourth quarter when the game was on the line, like up to that point, it is what it is because it's the heat of the game.
RD,
Shit
but just
will
let me
happen.
add this one little caveat. 5 runs in the second half after dominating. That in and of itself
Yeah.
is bad play call.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The game is on
Less
the
than
line.
5 yards,
Yes.
bro. Less
We
than
took
5
the lead,
yards.
guys.
Yes.
and
Hold
that's
on.
right.
Let
The
RD
second
finish
half
real
was
quick.
the best.
Let RD finish real quick, then we'll go to Cap. RD, go ahead.
It's snowing, right? Okay, fine. So you make 2 throws, and I'm like questioning those throws, but the Tua is making the throws beautiful. You run it for 1 yard. The moment he ran it for 1 yard, what's the very next play? A screen.
Terrible.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Either here's what's happening. Tua's converting on the throws. Either
Yes.
throw with Tua or run the fucking thing.
Yeah, what's a
Screen
screen?
is for one
In snow, in slippery snow. What are you doing?
He threw a screen at Tyreek
Mm-hmm.
behind the scrimmage.
Yes.
The guy lost 5 yards.
Yes.
How
And I'm
about
like,
throw it to
I'm like,
Gesicki,
you
bro?
don't blame anybody but the coach in that particular situation.
And Cap said, why don't throw it to Gesicki? Maybe a big target in that weather. He was again not used, and that's bad too.
Larry,
John, go ahead. John, go ahead. Then I want to go to Lakers.
I don't
John,
mind
go
going to the Gesicki, but look, Larry, you
sucks.
pointed it out. 5 rushes in after the halftime, right? But yet we scored 16 points during that time frame.
Because
The first
Tua.
half, we only scored 13 though. So the point being is we had this amazing rush game the entire first half. We only generated 13 points. We went away from the run in the second half. We actually generated more points.
Okay, but we're trying to control the game at the end, get first downs, and get 1 more point, and the run has
Especially when
worked
you're
all
up.
game. Run it. Especially because you've been
So
passing.
here's the thing.
Catch him off guard.
Here's the pushback on that.
Hold
Here's
on,
the
Cap.
pushback.
Hold on. Let Cap go, then RD. And it's hard, I know.
No,
Cap.
real quick, guys. No, just to get to your point about the running, man. I think we only had the ball. We had 2 possessions in the fourth quarter, guys. And with that being said, I mean, John, like I agree with you. Like if you have the advantage to throw the ball when you did in those in those weather conditions, because they were good, that's great. But the problem was we started throwing more in the snow.
Yeah,
John,
I don't get it. RD, go ahead.
in that second half, because the game, everything is in context, right? We fucked up, and then they fucked up by roughing our punter. So we get another possession, okay, and we ended that with a score, and then you have the Jalen Waddle miscommunication on the defense, again another blown coverage, right? So fine, those things worked in our favor, but that doesn't mean that the play calling is on cue, because those 2 things happen, right? The play calling is on cue only when you're controlling the possession, right? And you have a shot at winning in the fourth quarter because you don't fuck up with the screenshot.
Like screen game. It's crazy, man. It's not week 1 or week 2. It's the end of the year, and we haven't made any progress since the Pittsburgh game.
All right, so go ahead, John.
We started the third quarter. It was 27-13. We were down. Oh, I'm sorry, 21-13. We were down. We had to come out and start airing out the ball. And matter of fact, that third quarter, we put up 13 points to Buffalo's 0. So we did change the game plan.
So what happened when we
What
were
about in
up?
the fourth? Once
Yeah,
we
when we were up.
we still didn't run it.
Well,
the whole
that's
second
where
half,
we
not
needed
just
to
the
go
third.
back.
So
And
you asked for
to your guys' point, that's where we did not adjust back. Look, our coach made the adjustment, and it swayed the game in our favor. Our defense started shutting stuff down. Our offense came out and put up a bunch of points. But when we needed to go back to that run, we actually never went back to that run. So I will absolutely concede that on Mike McDaniel's part. He did not adjust super late in the game. But don't tell me he didn't make a halftime adjustment. Don't tell me this guy wasn't scheming the game.
For sure, he made that, yeah.
We had the lead, an 8-point lead in the fourth quarter. That's both guys.
In the second half, if it wasn't for a blown coverage and a roughing the punter call, who knows how that thing would have gone. I'm telling you, game on the line, it was an easy call. Either throw the ball with Tua, and I don't mean backwards, I mean forwards, or run the damn thing. Calling a screen there and having the screen blown up on his face because he was on the sideline there watching it. That's basically the NFL telling McDaniels, hey, brother, this shit ain't going to work, right? With
He's outsmarting himself. Alex, go ahead.
Right.
Alex, go ahead.
I would, the thing is that we talk about the run, what could have been, and the possession we had on the field goal drive. I wonder what happens if we score a touchdown on that drive instead of
when he fumbled the ball. When he fumbled the ball, we could have had a touchdown also.
When Phillips had the strip sack, there was 10 minutes to go in the game, and we should have controlled that drive right there, and just smash mouth football.
Yeah.
Now also, and here's another thing, okay? Mike McDaniel deserves a lot of the criticism, yes, and the coach, and he's the one that lost us the game. Another point on that is, why are you using Braylon Sanders in this game? And
I agree. I said it.
I don't know. The best throw of the night was to Braylon Sanders, and inexplicably, Braylon Sanders comes back for the ball
and commits offensive PI, which wasn't called.
Instead of letting it hit him in stride.
I don't know.
That's a touchdown.
He didn't throw it to Tyreek Hill. He should have thrown it to Hill. He underthrew the ball. Tua cannot be. He cannot flick the wrist and this thing goes 60 yards. He's just not that guy. All right?
Let me tell you something. Tua was not the problem on Saturday.
No.
Nobody's saying that. No one's saying that whatsoever.
I'm just saying. I know. I'm just saying. And the fact is that Gesicki, I think Gesicki is just terrible.
I don't agree. With that.
We overrate him. This fan base overrates him because let me tell you something.
We don't overrate him.
No, he was up there in stats though. He was good last year. They decided not to use him. He was good.
He's a good. Used him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Larry. The one time we used him, he gets tackled like nothing. All you have to do is
he catches the ball though. But he catches, makes good catches downfield.
And he falls to the floor.
That's your franchise tight end, Alex.
He's not a franchise tight end. He's gone next year.
He's gone next year. But I'm saying a lot of receivers, Waddle doesn't. I mean, Waddle runs if he's open, but a lot of people fall. I think he can be used. His skill set can be used successfully. They did it last year and the year before. McDaniel just choosing not to use it. Right.
But you're 6'6", 260 bulldoze.
Well, he's not. He's skinny though. He's not like a bulldozer. He's an acrobatic catcher, which he has caught some beautiful balls even this year that helped us win games. Like his skill set is not running people over. He's not Knox. I mean, but he can catch the ball.
I agree.
There's some tight ends in this draft that are just unreal. That will make Gesicki look like high school senior. You
Well,
know what I
especially
mean?
with McDaniel, we need a blocking tight end who's going to run
Yeah.
people. That's fine. I like those kind of guys. He likes a fullback Ingold. I like him. Go ahead, let Gesicki go where they'll use his skill set, and we'll take a different guy. That's fine.
Gets high pointed to Gesicki, but the problem is he's dropping these passes the last, and they haven't given him enough shots in the end zone.
Yeah, well, they're giving him these stupid out routes that like Tyreek runs, and that same stupid third down out route to Gesicki. No, throw it to him in the middle of the field in the end zone. Like,
if you're gonna throw it to Gesicki, don't throw an out route, throw an in route.
Exactly.
Come in and throw it high.
That's another thing. Yeah, that's another thing about McDaniel that I still love him. I'm just saying, when you have a player like that on your team, he may not be your ideal, but you have him for 1 year, you're paying him. Use him to what he does. Like, do it, you know?
You know
And
what's
one
funny,
thing I
Larry?
want to say too.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say too is, and I hate to quote the Big O, but we need to get Wilson more involved because we can't just use him as a high paid.
Yeah, bro. Where's
Yeah, he's
Wilson?
good too, bro. Every time he's got around the ball, he's made a good catch or a good play, but we got Sanders in there. What are we doing? I like Wilson. Wilson's been professional. He's made plays. He's got a good skill set. He's a little bigger. Like, I'm in no means saying get rid of McDaniel, but McDaniel's, there's some things he can be questioned about. Like,
Tyreek Hill, man. I'm telling when we brought, and I love Tyreek Hill, but we brought him in, it busted up this entire tight end wide receiving core that we had.
It
changed
did.
everything. And also,
Well, it
you
changed
have
it
to
for the
see
better,
Tyreek. He's
though.
always open. The guy's open every damn play, it seems. Like, seriously, he's so fast. I don't know what he's doing out there, but he's getting open.
The last 3 games the last 2 especially, we've been getting harassed, no calls against the other team.
a lot, yes.
Like, it's getting ridiculous. Like, I know they're going to bump and run, but they're holding our guys at the point of the catch.
Yes.
So it's like, this shit's got to stop, and I need McDaniels to be on their face and tell them, hey, this got to stop, right?
When we were winning all those games, we were getting every PI call. I swear there were some drives we went down the field on pure PI. But you're right. We're not getting those anymore. I don't know what's going
They're
on.
so egregious because it's compounding with the defensive calls. We're getting calls for defensive holdings.
Hold on. What Alex, what are you saying?
It would be so funny if Gesicki on Sunday just balls out.
It would be funny if that happened. And by the way, we got some comments I want to just read to you guys. One, El Reezy says Gesicki is too stiff a runner. He just not finesse enough like a Kelsey. He moves like a robot. Yeah, there's something to be desired from Gesicki here, and I still think he could be used, and he's got a good skill set for somebody. Pam says it's so funny. Buffalo fans can't stay out of Dolphin spaces. LOL, we own their heads. I agree. Everywhere I look, Buffalo fans we're not even mad at them. We're like, good game. And they're like, ha ha ha, how'd you like the snowballs, weirdos? And we're like, no, it was fine. Everything was like, what are you going to complain about injuries? Like, no, actually, great game. And they're just like, I don't know. So that she says great show. So anyway, I just wanted to read the comments. Proceed.
For real. I mean, we're still in Buffalo's head.
Yeah, I don't know why. Why are they so? They're 10-3. They're 11-3. They're like, what are they mad? What are they worried about?
Are we still holding hope to the division, guys? Are we? Still
I hope Cincinnati. I hope Cincinnati beats them, and I hope they lose that number 1 seed and they go number 2.
That'd be great.
Or even better, it doesn't really matter. But I just want to have a crack at them again in the playoffs.
RD, thank you for saying that. I'm really looking for.
I think Jalen Phillips
might get a crack at them, man.
We might, John. We might get a crack.
Those guys are going to tee off. I think Josh Boyer is going to tee off. I think we're going to play with house money, and it will be like, you know what? You beat us fair and square. We don't give a shit how we're going to beat you. We're going to physically beat the living shit out of you, especially our defense. Now, our offense may fold for whatever reason, but defensively, they can't run the ball, man.
No, they can't.
Josh Allen will have a bad game, dude.
Yeah. And Javon he's the only runner.
Will pick him off. Javon Holland should have picked him off in the first quarter. Like the throw was behind one of the wide receivers. Like it's going to happen. I just want us to get that second opportunity because I really feel that drive in the snow, that was it. We were supposed to drive down, run it down their throat, get the touchdown. Then the defense puts the stop, and it's like we can win. we fucked it up again, just like we fucked it up in San Francisco, and we didn't even show up for the whatever.
San Francisco, I think McDaniel actually called a really good game, and Tua blew it. I think there were
Yeah,
guys open everywhere.
The team.
I think that it was a
it's a
team
team,
loss in
right?
LA. We both sucked. Like they
Hey,
both
Larry,
were
thanks.
not good.
I gotta get going here.
Alex, see you later.
Yeah, I'm gonna get going too, Larry.
Thanks for hopping on, bro. All right, Cap. See you guys later,
Hey,
man.
thanks
Thank
a
you for
lot,
coming
man.
on.
Hey, John. Hey, come around more, John, man. Everybody's been asking about you, man.
Hell yeah. Hey, man, lively group today, too. Yeah, I'll definitely
Yes,
see
sir.
you again, Cap,
Yeah.
for sure, man.
All right, man.
Hey,
Go see
Larry,
back,
Larry,
man.
I ain't
Take
gonna
it
lie.
Later.
I went on the fans tailgate, and they were like, they love my Tua hate, man. They just loved it. They loved it. But also, they thought it was respectful. So that's what I'm
Yes.
going for these days.
I
That's
like
what it's
it.
all about, man. That's what it's all
Yeah,
about.
so anyway, thanks, Cap.
I like it, bro. Later, Cap.
Take care, bud.
Yeah. No, I say that, but like I'm not a Tua hater, guys. I'm really not. But at the end of the day, I am so sick. I'm just so sick of freaking losing, not making the playoffs. Larry, you said you're not buying any more gear. Frankly, I've been on that stint for 2 years now. I ain't
Yeah,
bought
dude.
nothing, but I have so much freaking crap, and I'm going to get more crap this Christmas for my
Yes,
family
of
because they
course.
all know. So I don't even have to buy more. But the
They
thing
don't
is,
They don't even
I
have
want.
dolphin gear anymore. They have whale gear. Like we
I
haven't
don't
had
even.
dolphin gears in 10 years now.
I get a lot of
Porpoise-
throwback if I'm getting it,
porpoise
but
gear.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to see a winner. I want to see a potential championship. And I've seen the mistakes from the Ryan Tannehill era. And I thought this guy, Ryan Tannehill, he was always good enough to tease us. And I'm
Yes.
seeing the same stuff out of Tua. So I don't want to take personal shots at the guy, but as a Dolphin fan, I'm seeing a freaking trend here. And it's scaring the crap out of me.
I get it.
do Tannehill was 7-year stint, okay? And what do we have for it? We were glad we were to trade him and got some draft picks. Like that was our big deal, right?
Yes.
I don't want to go through the same thing with Tua. And my personal take here is Tua is another Tannehill. He's grabbed our attention. He showed flashes of brilliance, but he's also crapped the bed unlike any Larry,
John.
San Francisco and LA was historically bad. Like, oh my, like most QBs are done for the season after that.
Yeah, it was
It
bad.
was so bad.
John,
really
we're gonna know exactly who Tua is in the next month. Okay,
Yes,
we're gonna make the playoffs because we have to, or else Tua
We already
forget it.
know. We
Yes.
already know what he
Tua-
is, and that's
Tua-
the scary part.
Well, let's make the playoffs, and then we'll see game one.
We are.
All right, game one. Tua needs to be elite. I don't want him to have an off day. I don't want him to start slow. I want us to win the coin toss, receive, and score right away. And I want Tua to execute on third down at a high clip, no turnovers. And I want him to run a few times for first down on scrambling mode. And I want him to have the best game of his life, right? That's the expectations. If he shows up Chargers style, San Francisco style, it is over right there and then. That's it. There is no more because it's been 3 years, right? He's got enough experience, enough confidence, all right? Enough repetition with this team this year. The season is over. It's no longer the first season with McDaniels. It's officially the second season now, right? Once the playoffs start. So like you'll know right away. So it's like I know we're 0-3 now, and it feels like I don't think this is the guy, but let it finish out. And if it doesn't finish out this way with the playoffs and a balling out first game, we might still lose because it is a team game. But I need Tua to literally ball out to finish off the season. He does that, next season we'll be more optimistic. If he craps the bed, it is over, dude.
Agreed.
And it's
Agreed.
that simple. It's that. So the test right now, it's like
Yes.
we'll see it. There's no more excuses. There's nothing. We expect it. Show up, or it's done. And that's for everybody, whether you're a Tua believer or I know there's some people who are just because of their channels just
Yeah.
have to do it. But we're all gonna know. We're all gonna know, and the
Agreed.
franchise is going to know too. And that's that.
I
Yeah, but I
agree.
heard-
No more waiting.
I heard something scary. Okay, so RD, I agree with 100% everything you said. With the expectation is if we make the playoffs and if he does crap the bed, okay, I almost guarantee he's coming back because the guy sells tickets. And I mean, honestly, I think the guy sells seats. And there is a franchise, a departure from the fan base to the actual money side of the franchise. I also think we're seeing here. Tua's very popular. Look, the guy made the Pro Bowl, and he didn't make it on merit. He made it on online votes. Let's face the facts here. So, RD, I agree with you. The guy needs to come out. He needs to ball out. He needs to be elite in at least one game of the playoffs to get the buy-in from the fan base. But simple playoff appearance, which we're going to do, hands down, guys, we are making the playoffs. And that's all this franchise, the money makers, need to see to run this back again and probably again. And that's my word.
If we make the playoffs and he shits the bed, I can guarantee you, even if he comes back, okay, which he probably will, he will never be paid, man. He's never going to get paid. He's never going to get paid by any
big
team.
Investment, right?
He's never going to get paid by any team unless it's the franchise itself, because teams, in order for them to pay you, you have to win in the playoffs, right? And if somebody's willing to pay him, I can guarantee you, because he would, like, let's say he fails with us the next couple of years, then there's value for him to be traded. Then you just trade him and you pay the rest of the team, make the team good, and give another quarterback an opportunity. Because you cannot have him have San Francisco and Chargers games. You cannot have him played like he did with the Tennessee Titans in big pivotal games and have the Rockets number 2. You know what I mean? Every time, or have who are all these big teams that never show up in big primetime games? Like Kirk Cousins, for instance, which this year he has finally overcome a lot of his shortcomings, but we'll see it in the playoffs. But it's like you have to deliver, man. This is not a charity. I don't care. Like, I know they got Tua as number 1 in the Pro Bowl and all that good stuff, and it's great. That's my quarterback. But I want the win, and I'm gonna identify who is the cause of us not getting the wins. And doesn't mean that Tua is off the team, but it does mean that, if he's pulling those kind of games, we're never going to pay him, and we are looking for a replacement in the back end, and the rumors will continue, right? Like, he has to have a signature win that is not in the beginning of the year because of blown coverage, that is not because he only had like 30 snaps in a game. No, I want him to win in December, big time, and I want him to win not by himself, because it's a team sport, but I want him to make pivotal plays where he doesn't screw up. Like, whether at that time he had to run and he screwed up, he just fell on the ground. Like, I don't want him stumbling or what if, or like, I just want him to ball out like Joe Burrow did, or Josh Allen does it all the time, or Mahomes, but in his own way, in his own efficient way.
Yeah, no, I think, and we're going to see it, and then we're either going to see it or we're not.
Right.
In the next 3 games in the playoffs. I mean, that's like, I agree with you. I don't think he's gone, but I think they bring in some sort of competition. The job is not just his, and then we don't pay him if he doesn't succeed, because the franchise has had it. Greer's not stupid. That's that. Now, if he plays well enough to get us into the playoffs and then is good in the playoffs, either wins a game or plays well, now you got next year. It's his job, and the next step has to be taken. If we're taking it, if we're 10-3, he'll probably sign the contract next year at that point.
Right.
Yeah, we have a 5th-year option.
Yes.
I don't know the specifics, but do we have to pick that up anytime soon?
Next year.
Next year, right?
That's when we decide.
This offseason.
We probably, unless if he craps the bed, I don't know that we do. I don't know. If he doesn't, then I think we pick that up, because that's just the 5th-year option on this contract.
Yeah.
That's not the big one. So you give him the next year to and then look, like I said, next year, if we're 10-3 and he's balling out next year and he played decent the end of this year, that's when you sign the long-term deal, I think. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, but if we're looking at, and I see Greg here, so I want to give him a shout, but if we're looking at if we're looking at deciding the 5th-year option over this offseason, and we also have a Pro Bowl quarterback, I think the writing's on the wall regardless of what happens. If we have a Pro Bowl quarterback right now, this dude's getting locked up for a 5th year regardless.
A fifth year's coming, bro. I feel like. Well, because it's weird. I don't know that it's weird how it works. Like technically, next year is the 4th year, but you always you have to pick up the 5th-year option. I think we probably pick it up. Like I said, barring some epic collapse. I think you're right, though. We probably pick it up regardless.
And I don't know how that's deserved. That it's a Dolphin fan that real. Oh boy, I like Lisa Schuyler. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like a 5th-year option right now.
I think it's just how the contract is, though. Like I think they did that on purpose, where like you have to meet a deadline.
Yeah. You got
it protects the franchise and the player. Yeah. So it basically gives us one more year to figure out if we want him, but it protects him because we give him a year to make sure he knows that. Like it's the way they design the contracts in the NFL.
That's a problem for me because as a guy who doesn't believe in Tua, right?
Can you drop the link one more time, Larry?
So, as a guy who believes in Tua, or I'm sorry, that doesn't believe in Tua, all right, and then our team's going to sign him to another, basically his 5th year without really proving much. That worries me as a fan. Like, I feel like we are really committing at least the next 2 years to this guy, and frankly, off of San Francisco and LA, it's quite undeserving. So
it's just standard though. That's what I'm saying. Like I think that's the way they design those 5th-year options on rookie contracts as like a league-wide thing. Like unless you're totally done with the dude, you don't pick it up. But like it's not like you pick it up as an incentive because the guy's played well, and if he hasn't played well, you don't pick it up. It's the way they design these contracts as part of the collective bargaining agreement that like as long as you're gonna like kind of roll with them, teams pick this up. Like it's the middling year.
I think this offseason, if
you know what I'm saying?
Playoffs, I think this offseason, if we make the playoffs, and I don't think it matters much what we do in the playoffs. I think if we make the playoffs, they made up their mind that they're going to extend him.
They should at that point.
I don't see a 5th-year option because they're going to need him on the cheap over the next couple of years.
Well, you're saying they sign him long term if we make the playoffs? That I wouldn't agree with. Unless I don't even know. Like, but I mean, if he plays like he did,
I think based on the moves that they've shown us, I think they've settled right as far as management. Now, of course, Tua has to be on board with what he's going to get paid and everything. But I think in their back of their mind, they're thinking, whatever happens in the playoffs, we can use it as a chip, as leverage to get a discount on this guy if he doesn't do good. And if he does good, we're still going to pay him regardless. So it's one of those win-win situations in their end where they think they have their franchise guy, but I think for the fan base, for the non-biased fan base, just the ones who will just see the games as they are, they're gonna be very worried that if we don't show up in the playoffs first game and we have a San Francisco game or a Chargers game or a Tennessee game, that it doesn't matter what happens in the future. This guy he's never going to be relied on to be a franchise guy, and they're going to pay him, and it's going to be Tannehill 2.0 on a different version. But with Tannehill, we never had a chance to even compete for the playoffs. So at least with Tua, we have playoff hopefuls. But again, our aspirations, because we've been dog shit for too long, it's like, I know it's baby step. First, you got to make the playoffs. But no, man, it's Super Bowl potential, or you have to have a foundation for Super Bowl potential. So I would never pay a quarterback that's holding me back. That's it. Like, you cannot have a San Francisco game or a Chargers game. You just can't. That's on you. And that means the quarterback's holding you back. He's had them. Get him out of your system.
Right.
And never to be seen again this year. Never.
Right. Agreed. Right. Yes. Pam, what's up?
Hey, Larry. Thanks for having me up.
No problem.
So I was thinking that I had posted it in the comments that if you think that McDaniel has a brain in his head and is any kind of a coach whatsoever, you have to realize he has staked his reputation on Tua. And I feel like he is probably a pretty good judge of NFL talent. He's certainly been around long enough to know NFL talent. And to put your entire reputation on a guy, which is what I feel like he has done, then he must feel pretty confident in Tua.
Yeah, I think he does.
And I don't think, he would just do that, because I think his career will go the way of Tua's.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think he does really believe in it. I don't think he would stake his...
Which is so ironic. Which is so ironic, because usually your career will go with the quarterback if you draft him. But this guy didn't draft him, and his career will go with him because he believes in him so much. It's like he wanted to draft him all along. Listen, man, Tua can ball out, and he has shown that he can ball out. Look at the Cleveland games and look at so many other games. He's done it in college. The problem with Tua, this is the NFL, and the problem with McDaniels is this is the NFL. You have to make adjustments. You cannot be stubborn. You cannot be weak. Like, you cannot be predictable that I can call the plays from my home in the couch. And I'm like, oh my God, don't tell me you're going to play action in the end zone. You're going to get sacked. And bam, they fumble, or they do on the third down conversion, 3rd and 1. I'm like, what is it? 4th and 1. They're going for it. But I don't think this is a good setup. Like, and then it's just no blocking, no nothing. It's like, what did you do that whole drive for? I mean, it's just, you can't do that. Simple.
I don't know. I think McDaniel's taken a lot of heat maybe for going for it whenever people thought he shouldn't, saying take the points. I think McDaniel needs to quit listening to other people and do what he feels, because that thing in the Buffalo game where we go for it on 4th and 1, and then get in another 4th and short situation and we don't go for it and we take the 3 when our run game was doing so well. I mean, man, I didn't get it. I'm not calling those plays from my couch because I didn't get that. I thought, we're in this game. We're in a battle for our lives. We're in totally hostile territory in horrible weather. And, I think we needed to stay with the girl we went to the dance with, because the girl was the running back.
You and RD said something perfect here, and it's that, frankly, when McDaniel took this job, he really did tie himself to Tua, and so I'm going to bring this back one more time. Okay, let's haul this back in, this 3rd and 1 situation. When McDaniels is calling a pass play, which we believe it is. We don't know if Tua's audibling. We have no clue.
Right,
but
which is...
From the face of it, it looks like McDaniel is calling a pass play. It's not because he doesn't believe in the run. He also believes in Tua. And he thinks, in Mike Daniels' belief, he believes his franchise QB could get this 3rd and 1. So really, when we don't get these 3 and 1s, you got to start questioning some things, okay? Is McDaniel's belief to these 2 point in Tua? Maybe
not with those with that little stupid out route that's covered up. Then that's not a good play call.
They're playing bump and if everyone is,
he's not a good play call.
He's putting the ball into his hands. He's saying,
but it's like running Mostert on a far sweep instead of off tackle when the tackles are blocking great. Like just because he's putting it in his hands doesn't mean he's calling the right play in his hands.
Exactly.
And honestly, he could also run for 3 yards and then give it to Tua on 1st and 10, surprise him over the top for a touchdown.
Or he could QB sneak it at 3rd and 1. Just QB sneak it right in there, 1 yard.
Tua ain't gonna get no damn 3rd and 1.
Tua can't do that either. Oh my goodness!
Larry.
Here's the thing, John, about saying he put it into his hands. He put it into his hands and then tied one behind his back, because those play calls were just horrendous. And okay, so you tried it once, and it blows up. You don't do it again. I mean, it wasn't like there was just a little bit of a block that was missed and it almost worked. It didn't work at all. There are some things where you see, well, a play almost worked. Let's see if we can get it done by, being sure to execute. That that play didn't have a chance of working the first time, let alone the second time.
Look, every time we try to convert this fourth downs, we have only success when Tua is throwing it in the middle of the field. Nothing on the outside, okay? Nothing behind him, okay? Nothing when we run it. Sometimes we get lucky with the run because the defense, folds. But we don't have the strength for third and short. We just don't. We don't have big running backs. We don't have, even though we have a fullback, we do run those sneaks. Those sneaks are effective when the fullback or the tight end goes behind the center and then we sneak it in for like a yard. That's effective. Okay, do that, but do not do this things that are constantly not working, especially with divisional rivals that have seen everything you have to offer.
I think we could have straight up ran in that game, though. We were getting 8 and 6 a clip with either back.
That's what. Either run that or throw it right in the middle of the field. But they're doing exactly what they shouldn't be doing.
Third and 1 is also different from 1st and 10 and 2nd and 10. Like 3rd and 1 against a Buffalo defense, guys. These guys, that front seven is not a joke.
They were on Saturday.
Actually, they're down a few folks. They're down Phillips, and they're also down. They're like, so maybe they were a joke.
And I saw them run blitz on 1st and 2nd. One time they got them from behind, and other times, dude, they were run blitzing off the edge, and we were beating. Mostert was beating them.
Actually, that defense did not look that good, frankly, during that game.
At all. Yeah, not even.
That's because, to quote a few Buffalo fans, they run that same defense irregardless of what another team is doing. They don't change up that defense.
No, they don't.
If you run on them, they still stick with that defense. They're trying to shut down our passes. Okay, well, we'll run. And then the thing that I think is, like, when you looked at Mostert running, what I saw was Lusaka on steroids. That's what I saw. I mean, Lusaka was always a guaranteed first down. On 3rd and short, 4th and short, he was guaranteed. Saturday night, we were guaranteed run yardage every time Mostert hit the ball. And then even when Ahmed
played well, got a touchdown running.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree. And Carlos just points out that McDaniel's gotten too cute with the runs on 3rd and 1s. It needs to change quick. Will not work if they go to the playoff game. If the running game is working, stick with it. But here's the thing. This isn't a new thing for McDaniel just in this game with the running game. There's been other games where it's down there and it's like 4th and 1 and he calls another pass play that's not a good one, like a silly pass play, or he calls like a trick run play. Like, this has gone on for a lot of the season. It's not that it means he's a terrible coach. This is something he's done, trying to outsmart a team that he's already outsmarted, and he outsmarts himself. Like, he's done it.
Exactly. He's got to start doing play action on 4th down or 3rd down and 1. Don't do play action. Either put him on shotgun, or put him under the gun and just run or put him under the center and just run that damn thing.
Yeah, just
right. Do not, because every single time what happens is Tua turns around.
Yes,
okay, everybody has missed their assignment as far as blocking, right?
Yes,
and everyone is holding on to the wide receivers.
Yes,
and then the next thing you know, it's like Tua's like, I'm like, what the hell?
It's a third
drive, and that's the climax.
It's short routes when they're already playing bump and run coverage. And there's no coverage. Like, I could see just get him under center, drop back, and throw a quick slant.
And
because Tyreek's getting it every time.
It is some exotic blocking.
Except for when he's being mauled, Larry.
Well, yeah.
Except for, like, seriously, I'm sure, I know y'all saw the game, but have you seen the still picture of how early the defender was there on Reek, and the ball is like, I don't know, 3 yards. 2 yards away from him or something. He wasn't just there early. He was there like having a snack and a drink and singing a little song and tap dancing.
he keeps on throwing Tyreek, like under throws Tyreek, or he keeps on throwing him from behind a lot of times. Like Tyreek has to make ridiculous catches. I know he drops sometimes the catches. Yeah. So people are like, come on, Tyreek, you got to know where that is. But I think Tyreek makes more than he drops 2-to-1 ratio, dude. Like as far as
talking about him being
stuff that
by
he's
the defender.
No, I know, but I'm saying I'm picking up on a different topic. Is I think Tyreek is making more uncatchable catches than he's dropping catchable balls. That's all. Like based on what I'm saying,
I think it's 50-50. I think a lot of the balls are right there. I think he had some really nice acrobatic catches and he had some drops. I think it's pretty.
Dude, the drops, because when you get targeted every damn time, you know what I mean? It takes a pounding into you. Yeah, like Cedric Wilson is not getting used. The running backs are not being used for running even. The tight ends are not being used. Jalen Waddle sometimes is not catching anything for a half. Like I'm not
criticizing Tyreek for dropping balls. I'm not. I don't say.
I'm just like I'm saying. I think he's catching more uncatchable balls from Tua than he's dropping catchable balls.
Snowballs is in the chat.
Yeah, snowballs in the head. Yeah,
and they said, I feel like I'm the reason for the outcome. So we got snowballs, and the snow is fine, snowballs, as long as you're not ice balls. I think that's what Mike McDaniel was scared of, ice balls.
They were
snowballs.
High school.
Snowballs
baby.
aren't going to fly that far from up in the stands down to the
cars,
middle of
the cars. That was the best.
I mean, ice balls are good for whiskey.
Yeah, well, when we were kids, we used to hit everybody with snowballs, like with cars and stuff. You know, like we're Jersey kids, man. You're hitting each other with. I know Greg's out there. He looks like a snowball slinger to me. Patrick Mahomes with them snowballs out there in New England. I know what Greg does, man.
You know,
a trash can knocker downer.
In all my years of watching football, and there's a lot of them, I have never seen such a thing allowed in an NFL game before.
Because they're losers.
Well, of course, but do you think that if the Dallas Cowboys were on that field that day, that would have continued? Because I don't.
I have no idea. I honestly don't know.
I think it's only because it was the Dolphins.
I think you cannot ask the fans.
They were hitting everybody with those snowballs.
Yeah,
man.
You can't like the
snowball
fans.
Game. Come on.
Yeah, the
I didn't care that much.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. Is like 50,000 people. I don't know how many people. You can't control them. And once a few people do it, it gets out of hand fairly fast. If they don't stop the game when it's happening right away and be like, hey, they're stopping the game like a quarter later.
That's what I'm saying.
Are you kidding me? You stop it right away. Tell everybody you set the mode. That's an administration issue. That's the league issue. That has nothing to do with the fans.
That's what
the fans
I'm
just
saying.
follow
It's
the leader.
a league.
If
that's
they
what I'm saying.
Well, if they throw it while they're going for it, that's one thing. But I don't know. It's just wild. It's a snow game. What are you saying, John?
Well, guys, look. When these fans were showing up to the stadium, their seats were literally covered in snow.
Yes.
So they were simply getting rid of their snow to the field.
That's something I heard. That was the most ridiculous. They're always covered in snow in Buffalo. Come on.
In snow. Like, if I showed up to the stadium and my seat was covered in snow, I would be pissed off too. Frankly,
I felt bad for the camera people.
Covered in snow. It's Buffalo.
You know those camera people
covered in snow.
Those camera people that like. The camera people that like put their lives on the line sometimes just because of the football players hitting them. Now they're getting hit with like rocks because that's how frozen those snowballs
were. If that was
ice
balls, then that's a rock. But I mean, some of them are breaking on the field, so I don't know how much stock.
The one that hit Tyreek did not break, man. That bounced.
Exactly. It was exactly. But I just have to say, like, if they're gonna start allowing that, I'm going to start bringing something to throw too. You know, do y'all remember, and of course I would never do that. I'm just being a smart aleck, but do y'all remember, you know, the referees shutting down the game and penalizing the Miami Dolphins for the crowd being too loud?
No.
That game, I was so mad. Like the crowd, you know, which is part of the whole experience of home field advantage. And the crowd was roaring and they stopped the game. It's happened in multiple games.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know. I was in Cincinnati and they were loud as hell, man. And that was rolling.
Bro.
Why? This was probably in the late 90s, early
That's
200s.
crazy.
I can't be exactly sure when, but in every other stadium, and it happened in another stadium too. So you're going to stop fans from yelling, you
Bro.
know, but you're not going to stop them from throwing snowballs that can interfere with the game.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a problem. I didn't know that. I didn't know they stopped game for
Those
11.
fans
And Snowballs has told us that dildos are also brought into the stadium there, so we've seen that happen. Luckily, there was no flying dildos. That's one thing we can be happy about. There could have been purple
We can be
dildos,
happy.
all colors,
Dildos
fluorescent,
and
big,
panties
long,
on the
thick, small.
field,
I don't know.
boy.
So we
But
did not see any dildos, guys. We did see
But
ice
you know what's
balls,
funny?
balls,
Buffalo-
but no
Buffalo-
dildo. I don't know.
Buffalo does that for when Tom Brady used to go there. They used to do that. They used to throw them
Yeah.
at Tom Brady.
Would they throw them?
They used to throw the dildos at Tom Brady.
Yeah, so Tom caught dildos, Tyreek caught ice balls. I don't know. I take the ice. I don't know.
They were
I don't know what
throwing
goes
the
on in
Twins
Buffalo.
and not the Johnson.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, exactly. That's about it. I don't know. There's no suction cup. I mean, I don't want it sticking to a player's helmet. Now he's running down the field with that thing. There's just too much going on in Buffalo. I don't know.
If there's any Bills fan, flip this clip and send it to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. If I somehow manage to get tickets to the game when the Bills come to Miami, I'm bringing something heat
also,
related. Like
in
cake
Dolphins
and a
Stadium,
chocolate Bills
you
fan.
guys might remember.
Yeah, I'm listening.
You might. Okay.
Pam, go ahead.
So one thing I wanted to bring up, guys,
Yes.
if we face the Bills again,
We beat
dude,
them.
Waddle has burned them twice already. All right,
Yes.
I expect him to, and then Hill is going to do his thing. I don't want them to be scared. Enough with the short pass. Just go deep and run the ball. Deep, explosive. Dude, Josh Allen is going to screw himself over, right? So he's like the third quarter because that's the way they play, you know? Big plays all the time. So they're going to run into their own self. We cannot over,
We
think
need to run the ball 40 times the next time we play them in the playoffs.
Right.
If it's working like it was.
No, but seriously, run it 40 times and
40
throw
times.
it deep. Throw it deep 30 times. And that way,
throw it deep 5 times. Run it 40 times.
well, I mean, have Tyreek Hill is going to get 2 and Waddle is going to catch 2. Those are 4 touchdowns right there. And then the running game is going to get you 1 or maybe 2. That's 6 touchdowns. Should be able to easily put in 35 to 42 points with these guys. And I don't care where the game is at, as long as it's not snowing 6 feet of snow, right? We're going to get ours. But if look at the first drive that we had in that game. I mean, we ran the ball, and then all of a sudden, Tua got forgot what's happening in the game. Like
in the red zone?
Well, in the first drive, we didn't even get to the red zone. We just
we got
threw
3
it in
points,
the.
didn't we?
No, not the first drive. The second drive we did.
Okay.
But it boggles the mind, right? How the Miami Dolphins are like, we're not that good. What do you mean you're not that good? You've made the plays all season long. Just make the same fucking plays. We shouldn't have you play from 2020 again. Like this 3 weeks has been so painful to watch. It's like I was so amped up to watch him for this 3 weeks because of what we accomplished all season long. And it's like it comes back
you
2020.
can't say that about Saturday night's game, right?
Well, no, Saturday I can't, right? Saturday we balled out, but not in the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, it's like this bipolarization. I'm like, what are we doing?
They just had a great 6-minute drill, and McDaniel didn't call a good
Right.
play.
But that's what I'm saying. Like somebody,
Snowballs has asked the question: do you see a win in the playoffs versus the Bengals or the Chiefs? I say the Bengals. I can see a win, but it's not going to be easy. I was at that stadium. The Chiefs, it's harder, man. I don't know.
But I can guarantee you,
from reps.
whoever we face, I can guarantee you, we're gonna fuck ourselves over 3 times before they fuck us over. Like 100%. Anything that beats us, you're gonna see some bullshit ass play calling or some ridiculous execution.
RD is heated. Right
No,
now.
and seriously, like it's ridiculous how I'm like looking at this thing in slow motion, and I'm like, okay, well, all of our wide receivers are being held. We're running the ball, but we don't commit to the run. Tua's got this play call action that he's just throwing it across his shoulders and into the stands. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, you shouldn't have this type of like shift from like being elite. All of a sudden, are you the guy? Like I shouldn't have to question that anymore. And this 3 weeks has been just abysmal at best.
Well, I don't think Saturday night was abysmal. I think
The
some of
fourth quarter was. The fourth
calling-
quarter was
the
a
play call-
complete shit show.
I think it was.
I
I
think
wouldn't
it was
call it
the
a complete
play
shit show. I think it was
The
just,
fourth
we
quarter?
Just lost. I wouldn't call it a complete shit.
We didn't just lose the fourth quarter. We handed it to them in 2 drives from the offense and 1 drive from the two drives from the defense and 1 out.
The
Like,
defense was pretty bad in the fourth quarter. We gave
dude,
up all the
but everybody fucked up. The coaching fucked up. Okay, the coaching. The only guy who didn't fuck up was Tua in that fourth quarter.
Right.
Like that's the only guy. Great, Tua didn't fuck up. Okay, well, great. But so what? It's like, give me a break. I don't care. I want to, like, I need to see it, dude. It's driving me crazy. We're like getting teased constantly with this team now. And it's getting to the point where it's like
Snowballs, you better subscribe, Snowballs. That's all I gotta say. You better subscribe.
Yeah, RD, we're a good team. I truly believe we are a good team, but we're not a great team, and that's why let's put aside this whole December losing streak, 0-3. We are still sitting here right now in December with a very, very good chance of making the playoffs, and actually probably getting a decent matchup. I'm really hoping for Jacksonville. But I don't think that's realistic. I think the realistic scenario is that we get Cincinnati. All right, we're probably going to come in at numbers
or the Bills.
Well, if we come in at 7, we're not going to come in at 7 though, are we? We're going to come in at 6. If we come in at 7, then we're screwed. But I think,
and I don't want us taking, if we clinch the playoffs with the Patriots, I don't want us taking a week off, because we take a week off and the next thing you know, the excuses are, well, I don't know if we should have taken a week off. We were out of rhythm. And that same shit that I've heard in the past. I don't want to hear that.
Thank you, Snowballs. Thank you, Snowballs. By the way, I'm just
everything should be like, we got to get the Super Bowl should be the first week of the playoffs. You got to win that game.
So what I'd like to see is that we do what worked in the first few games of the season, which was throwing the ball around, giving it to everybody. Everybody was getting in on the action. We were so unpredictable because you didn't know who was going to get the ball next.
Yeah, the Cleveland game. The Cleveland game was perfect execution, and then we went on the bye week, and then after that,
bye
we
week
got
hurt
fucked.
us. Two even
That's
said
what I'm
that.
saying.
He wasn't happy about the bye week.
That's why I agree.
That's what I'm saying. Like excuses. I'm like, don't sit anybody out anymore. Like everybody plays every game. Get it done.
And for goodness sakes, put Gesicki on the field, but don't throw the ball. Like, run the ball when you put Gesicki on the field. I don't mean Gesicki runs the ball. I just mean change the play call, because we put Gesicki on the field, it's a guaranteed pass. It's like, okay, they're passing. Gesicki's on the field.
Yeah, put him as a wide receiver.
Run the ball.
Well, this is
Put him
what
as a
pissed
wide
me
receiver
off
on the
too.
X.
This is what pissed me off. I knew we were going to pass the ball every damn down, so I knew the Bills did on 3rd and short, because every time it was 3rd and short, Ingold went to the sideline. Every single time.
Every time.
It was a telegraph, and that's why they were all over the wideouts, man. Got to do better with that. Gotta.
There was a key
That's a good point,
situation.
Larry.
There was
That's
a
a
key
great
situation where Wilson's not in the game, obviously, because he's injured. So our Ingold is off, our running back is off, right?
Yeah.
And it was a key situation where we had to run the ball.
You could throw it to Ingold too and really confuse him, but like you gotta get. He knows he can do it.
What happened? And what happened? They knew they weren't going to run it. So what happened? Tua now fumbles because they knew there's a throw coming. So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Then why the fuck are you lining up behind the center if they already know you're not going to run it because you don't have the personnel, but you're going to play action this shit? Are you kidding? And then he's scrambling, he's trying to like go all over the field. I'm like, what are you? Enough. Like, get it right, man. I don't care it's your rookie year as a head coach. Get it right. I don't want you to be smooth and like with sunglasses and I wish it was colder.
Oh, I think he's awesome.
Well, I like that. I like that. I wish it was colder.
Listen. To me, the number one, it's priorities, right? The number one priority, key situations. I want to rely on my coach getting it right. And he hasn't sold me on games where, listen, we got bailed out by the Pittsburgh Steelers because that's a shit team, right? But we had a shit game
Tua didn't
that
play
game,
good in that game either.
right? Yeah, we had a shit game that game. Without Tua, we lost all of our games. Okay, show up, McDaniels. Don't tease me because all the head coaches out there tease you, right? But show up, and that's what I like about the guy in Campbell. You know, he was dealt a hard card, but look at him. He has turned golf around, dude. Who the fucking...
Well,
the
I mean, let's
Super
be
Bowl
honest.
winning coach couldn't turn golf around.
McDaniel tuned Tua around a bit too, so we got to.
No,
and Snowball says just run. I feel like McDaniel wants to pad Tua's stats, and that's kind of what people were saying earlier.
He has, but I tell you now, golf is not Tua, dude. Golf is worse than Tua, bro. Like, let's not get that.
I agree.
And that O-line and that running game that he has built in Detroit, we don't have that over here. You know what I mean? And that we have the defense, but he inherited the defense. So, like, Campbell has done a lot of things over there that, you know, surprisingly, it's Detroit, right? McDaniels has done a lot of great things, but it's not just, this is a great football team, and Brian Flores was winning with this football team. Okay,
No,
with no
he was
offense.
going to ruin Tua.
So
he was a defensive.
He was winning and not winning. Like he had
Right.
some winning half of seasons, like awesome,
Yes.
and some really bad half.
But here's the funny thing about Brian Flores.
I was a fan of his, by the way.
Here's the thing about Brian Flores, though. Even if you hate Brian Flores, I'll tell you one thing. Brian Flores was finishing the season strong every year. So
Exactly.
it's how you finish. It's not how you start. I'm telling you, with Mike McDaniels, this 3 weeks has been so bad that not only he has to make the playoffs now, but he has to, in the playoffs, justify his play calling.
I
right?
think that
and
was
I
true
don't
even
want to
before
see
the
any
season.
fucking mistake. No, man. If you have a great regular season and you have a stinker in the playoffs, you can justify, you know what, this happened. I understand it. But you can't justify 3 stinkers in key situations. 2 were stinkers, and that fourth quarter was a stinker. So it's like you can't justify that. We've seen it too many times. We've seen it in the beginning of the year when you had no quarterback and you had no backup plan, right? So
I don't think you can underestimate the impact of what McDaniel walked into with this team. And I don't mean like lack of talent. I mean like the uproar and upheaval that happened with the organization and, you know, the way things were. I don't think you can discount that. I also don't think you can discount the impact that the referees had on the game on Saturday night. That the intentional grounding that should have been called on Josh Allen, how is that not intentional grounding? I mean,
that was terrible. I don't understand that. I think we might have stopped them anyway that drive, but I didn't understand that whatsoever.
Right. I mean, when you've got a game that tight, for the referees to step in and have that much control over what is going on, if you're going to let them play, if you're going to let them get there early, let everybody play. Don't call it one
the
way
referees
on
have been
one
dog shit the last 3 games. I'm not gonna the referees have been terrible the last 3 games, and we have been, and we haven't been on the receiving end of that, and it's been ridiculously bad. Ridiculously. So I'm not going to use that.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm
think
not going to use that ever as an excuse.
I don't think it's why we lost any of those games.
I'm not saying that's the reason. I'm just saying that's something that's going to work in our favor in the future because they balance out, right?
Right.
But key situations, I need to see it from McDaniels and Tua to execute something that the defense is like, holy shit, he's wide open. We didn't even see that coming, because it's not happening right now, dude. They're supposed to be geniuses, and it's looking pathetic versus the good teams over there. I'm not judging them with the shit teams.
That's what we're seeing.
I don't average shit. It doesn't matter. I want to see genius. I want to see
genius.
Wow.
I don't see elite. I don't see
that's what I'm saying.
of that sort.
I need to see that in key situations when the game is on the line, because that's what we've been promised from McDaniels, right? And you see it with San Francisco all the time. And it's like, well, you have as good of a personnel as they do, okay? just get it done. Like, do not be batting 0 for 7, 0 for 2 for 16 on third downs versus good teams. Do not tell me that in the fourth quarter you're going to get only one drive because your defense can get off the field, and the one drive you get, you forgot to run the ball because you like. Do not, no excuses, man. Like, this is
So let
it.
me ask y'all what you think, because one of the things that I've been saying for the last few years, and of course it's different coaching regimes, but the clock management has been horrible. So I feel like, as the guy that's calling the plays, McDaniel is probably not the one that's given the responsibility to deal with that. I'm not positive, but I'm thinking there's supposed to be a guy who's paying attention.
That's what the Titans coach. That's what the assistant head coach is for things like that.
Well, the Jets, they were talking about the same thing because they blew their timeouts in that game. And they were saying that a former Jets coach used to have a guy just responsible for time and things like that. So I don't know how McDaniel's doing certain delegating of responsibilities, but
Right. I was wondering if you knew, because that was
think he is
something that
responsible, but
happened.
he should delegate.
Okay.
Should
Yeah, I
delegate
think
some
he
stuff.
should too, because that's what I think happened there in the, second half of the fourth quarter. I think that's one of the things that happened. That clock just went tick tock, and I think we probably should have started using our timeouts sooner. Like I just the clock management in that was bad.
Right.
And the
No, it
route
was.
running, when you are going to run a third and one, whatever it is, the route running, your wide receivers, like, they got to run slants right away. Like, right away. I don't want you like running and then turning. I want
No, I
you
agree with that,
starting on an angle, and I want you to have like a tight end, like a Gesicki or somebody tall, so you can high point this thing as it's only 2 yards, right? Just throw it to their chest. Like, it's like it. I mean, I'm telling you, dude, it's not working. The eye test is not being passed right now with pivotal. This is how you judge these guys when you face the elite defenses, not when you're facing struggling franchises, because that's fool's gold.
RD,
Okay,
what's our record? What's our record right
8
now?
and 6.
8 and 6.
7.
8
8 and
and
7.
6. It
6,
just
right.
epitomizes everything you had just said right now, guys.
Yeah,
we
no,
are
I mean, dude, we were 8 and
6.
we were 8 and 3 because I haven't been on the show for some time, but we were 8 and 3, top of the world, because we were losing games because Tua wasn't there. So I'm optimistic. This is it.
He
This
didn't
like
lose a game. He started.
Even if we lose games in the future, I'm sure there's going to be a reason. But to be a complete shit show on different levels, like, just there's a part of this team that's going to give up. If this is going well, then this is going to go to shit. If this is going well, then this is going to go to shit. And I'm like, well, that wasn't happening. And all of a sudden, this is happening. So you guys have to have the confidence now that you are a good team, and you also have to get it right on practice every week, and you have to learn from your struggles. I don't want to see the same mistakes be repeated, because if that's the case, then that means they don't have the ability to learn and adapt on a coaching level, and then you see it on the players that they don't have the necessary support to actually adjust or improve on their skill sets. So it's a losing proposition for years to come.
That we had 3 road games, 2 on the West Coast, then we come all the way back to the East Coast on a shortened week and play against probably the top D, one of the top teams in the NFL, and we go in there and we shocked everybody with our play. I feel like with a few better play calls, which I'm hoping lessons are learned, and then you see Tyreek say, "You'll never see me play that bad again." So
that's what I want to see from McDaniels. I want to start seeing, like, and Larry said it, right? Larry, you said it, right? I want to see McDaniels start taking some accountability. Yeah, that's never going to happen again. We're gonna fix this 3-1 now. And I want to see Tua. You're never going, after the Chargers game, you're never going to see me play this bad ever again.
Who did we impress? We beat the Bills in week 3. If anything, we've had a degression.
Yeah, but people were impressed by the Bills. Well,
we
everybody
lost.
across the yeah, but we played well.
Yeah,
On any
but we
measure,
came
you
off
wanna
a
you wanna do. We
three
beat them
game
already, and now we lost.
John, we cannot go back in time. We can just evaluate the last 3 games because the last 3 games hold the most water.
I know, but that
we have to evaluate just the last 3 games, right? Just so we're evaluating the last 3 games. The first 2 games, the first 2 games are just forget. Like I don't even want to know how that happened. But on the 3rd game, we finally got everything right. We finally got everything right, and the play calling in the end, took the biggest step backwards that I've ever seen from the entire year from Mike McDaniels. Like any mistakes he's made in the past.
The last 2 games he was struggling a little, not in the he was the design and the
He
game
had
plan
a
was
lead.
fine. Yeah, I get it. Like I'm not harping. Quite frankly, I feel pretty good about the team after that. I'm not the one saying all that.
I'm on the other side of this. I frankly, I think we are all so high on a quote unquote moral victory because we lost the game. We are on a 3-game
I'm not calling it a
lose
moral
streak.
victory. I think what we did was play a really tough team in a really tough situation, and we played really well. Like nobody thought we were going to do that.
Pauline,
it's not
what
a moral
I'm saying, I'm not saying moral victory. Moral victory is like we're 1-8. We go 1-9, but we look good. What I'm saying is we got 3 more games. Right now, that game was good enough for us to win the next 3 games. That's all I'm saying. And that's
Larry,
Larry,
here's the thing. Here's the thing, Larry. If games were only 3 quarters long, Matt Ryan would be Tom Brady. Okay? If that's just how it is, dude. But they're not 3 quarters, they're 4th quarters. And in the 4th quarter, the coach only Tua didn't screw up. Only Tua didn't screw up out of the main people in the 4th quarter. Josh Boyer screwed up. Okay, our secondary screwed up. Mike Daniels screwed up. Our edge rushers couldn't get to the quarterback. So essentially, in the 4th quarter, we folded. That's what loser teams do. So I don't want to fall in that category. I want to be a competitor,
team,
right?
And we have been great in the 4th quarter. That you can't,
look
predominantly this season.
We've been dog shit. Doesn't even
quarter.
Dog shit doesn't even give it justice. The last 3 games in the 4th quarter, dog shit. Dog shit doesn't even give it. So we've been horrific with the good teams in the 4th quarter when you're supposed to show the whole world what's up, right?
Well,
we've seen this movie before. So right now we have to make the playoffs, right? It's first step. And then in the playoffs, make noise. And in the 4th quarter, I want us to be in that game. And that's it. And that's how we're going to evaluate this team when the season is over. Did they check off these boxes? No excuses. That's it. It's been 3 years now, man. No excuses. Show up that way.
We were 8
this
and
is
3.
1 year for McDaniel.
Question for Larry. We were 8 and 3 going into the San Francisco game on that road trip. Yes. If I had told you going into that, we're going to come out in 8 and 6, are you going to sit here and paint a rosy picture for me? Are you going to sit here and say, "Holy shoot, what happened"? Because I'm hearing a big rosy picture, guys.
I'm not painting a rosy picture.
Larry, 8 and 6.
A rosy picture. I'm saying they played good enough in that game to win the next 3. I'm not saying they're painting a rosy picture.
12 quarters.
Do I look rosy? Yeah. Was my post game rosy?
12 quarters. 12 quarters, Larry.
Just saying. It's not wrong. I'm just saying we could talk in circles about we suck. Okay, and we could say we got to prove something the next 3 games and make noise in the playoffs. We're saying it. Like, what else is there? I'm not directing this specifically at anybody here. I'm just saying,
Larry, 12 quarters.
John, let me
in
ask
12
you the
quarters,
same
we only
question.
had 2 decent quarters.
Yeah, I get it. I know.
That's it.
And
10 quarters.
I also said at the beginning. All right. I also said at the beginning of the road trip, we lose 3, it's going to define the season, and it did. Now we got to win the next 3. I mean, what else can I say? I don't. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
What I want to know, John, is at the beginning, before the season started, if you knew we were 8 and 6 without knowing anything else,
not
at
okay.
this point, if you knew we were 8 and 6,
it's not okay.
Not okay because this
A lot
team is stacked
No,
unlike
it's
any
not
other
okay.
Dolphin team
it's not
I've
okay
ever
because I thought we
seen.
would have faced the Jets and
we
beaten Jets, right?
This
We
I
is
lost
would
to
a
the
say we
Jets,
Super
were
Bowl
stacked,
and
caliber
but we
we would
have
roster.
a
have beaten
lot of people
Minnesota,
out.
and we lost to
We have
Minnesota.
a lot of
No, no,
injuries,
you
No
right?
said no, no. You
problem.
said if I told you at the beginning of the year when we didn't have the injuries, you
8-6
said
not
if
okay.
we were 8-6, would you be okay?
That
Of
being
course,
said, I
8-6
did
is not.
predict that we would go 1-2 on that stretch early before the season even started, and I predicted we would lose to Baltimore. So I'm right around where I said we would be. It just hurts to go 0-3 because you think you could have done better, and we should have done
Exactly.
better. We should have done better. I'm not saying we should. We should have done better. It
Right.
sucks, but I'm just
Right.
saying. But here's the thing too, it all matters. If we had played as bad against Buffalo as we played against San Francisco and against LA, I would feel even worse. I wouldn't even be highlighting anything positive. If we had played as good against Buffalo in the other two games, I might not feel as bad. We just played decent against Buffalo, so we can salvage this thing. Doesn't mean we will.
Dude.
Doesn't mean I'm proud of losing 3 in a row. I'm just stating it like it is. That's it.
If Tua had scored a touchdown or even a field goal, doesn't matter, right? If we had just scored in that fourth quarter and they came back and they scored on us, I would have been like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm optimistic. The fact that we put 0 points and we
still
had
be
the
mad.
lead,
Come on, man.
we were leading by 8 points. We were leading by 8 points in the fourth quarter. We put up 0, and then we only give them 2 drives.
I know.
And
It happens.
It's
In
insane.
Do you
No,
think
it doesn't.
Baltimore?
It shouldn't.
Do you
what
think
happened.
Baltimore
It
right
shouldn't.
now and John Harbaugh's like, you know what? Forget the season. The Dolphins beat us in the fourth quarter, week 2. We're done. Like it happens.
Exactly.
Guys, but in
Yeah, but-
perspective, we're 8-6 and we're on a 3-game losing streak in December.
Yes.
This ain't good.
No,
This ain't
no one's
good.
saying it's good. I don't know.
No,
I
but you
think
just say it
Well, and
happens. Don't
that's
say
what
it
my point
happens,
is
Larry.
about our
It
QB.
does
Larry,
happen.
Larry,
And
it
that's what
happens in week 1.
happens.
It happens in week 2 of the
happens
season.
late,
In the
too. It
fourth
happens-
quarter, you fumble, and they've been fumbling other fourth
Guys.
quarters too. It's Baltimore has
So-
been doing this
It
all year long.
happens like in a lot of seasons. Teams go on skids. Teams lose a game, a pivotal game at the end of the year.
Right, but
Teams-
not
like
for
it
teams
happens.
that have shit to prove. Like they have proven it. They've
No.
made.
No, it
they're
does
gonna have
Now,
to
why,
prove
okay,
themselves
I
as
agree,
well.
I agree. But now,
Last
if we win
year-
the next 3 games and Tua
Yeah.
puts up great stats, then we go to
Yeah.
the playoffs and win a game. Are you going to say, well, it doesn't
I'll
matter.
forgive
We
it.
sucked. We didn't define
No.
ourselves. We didn't.
No.
So, like, I'm
No.
just saying, wait for
No.
the 3 games.
Wait
Right.
for the 3 games.
Right, but
Yep.
That's
but
11 and
we got to
6
set it up. No,
with
no,
the
we have to
playoff
set it up
victory.
now so it doesn't come out of the
Yes.
blue. We have to set it up now, right?
Great.
So things don't come out of the blue. So this is where we stand right now. We are back to being indecisive about this team, which
Yes.
which is a horrific.
Yeah, that's a loss
backstep
in and of
work,
itself. I agree.
because it's like I wasn't ready for that at
Yes.
all. I
Yes.
thought we turned
John
the page,
John was ready for that.
right? And
Worried
Just
about
saying,
it.
he
I
was.
really- I really
he
was.
was.
I was
He
worried.
was. I had given up. I was like, nah, I was wrong.
As
So-
a Dolphin fan, as we all know, we all get crushed. And I guess I've just been crushed as much as you guys, but I've learned my lesson maybe a little earlier and to realize, holy crap, this is heading for another crushing.
No, I was
Guys.
because I haven't been on the show. I was pissed off after the San Francisco game,
Larry,
but
I
after
gotta
the
ask you-
Chargers
John,
game,
Everybody
I
was
lost.
mad after
I
that
gotta
game.
hear it. Larry, what is the at this point? Let's put everything aside. Here's where we're at. We're 8-6. We got 3 games left in the regular season. At this point, to you, Larry, what is a successful season? What determines to you that this team has potential for next year?
Win
Like,
the next
what is
3
success?
games. Win the next 3 games, and take some good team because they're probably going to be a lower seed to the wire in the playoffs, and 2 will play well in the playoff game.
Agreed.
That's it.
Or go 2-1 and do the same thing, or win a playoff game. Win a
Unless
playoff
it's the
game.
Titans. Unless
If
it's the
Tua
Titans.
plays like crap in the playoffs,
No,
and
no.
we sneak in and we go 2-1, then he plays like crap, I'm not convinced. It's not a successful
Exactly.
season.
But if we get in the playoffs and then we face the Titans and we don't win that game for whatever reason, still pissed.
We
Still
gotta
Be
win
pissed.
pissed.
that
But
game.
look,
Oh, if we
win,
play them.
get
Oh.
into the playoffs and win a game, or go
Win
take it
a-
to the wire. It's promising
Win a game.
because that's
Yeah.
a success. We got to the playoffs they were supposed to. But with this roster, you really should win a game. But it's just that we're gonna be a low seed now, and a lot of
I
it has
wanna
to do
be
with the. So I can't handcuff myself because I don't know what's going to happen, okay? I don't know if the ref's going to blow a call and Tua plays lights out, goes toe-to-toe with Mahomes for 6 touchdowns, and I won't be able to get up here and say, we suck, we're a failure. And conversely, if we win, but Tua stinks it up, and we have to put in Skyler, and I can't predict what's going to happen, so I can't tell you what my emotion's going to be. I can say, or my take is going to be, I can say we've got to get to the playoffs first. If we miss the playoffs, it's an epic failure. Epic failure.
No, McDaniels is gone.
And if we make it and we get blown out, if we make it and get blown out, it's still a failure. Now, I don't want to say we have to win because I don't know how it's going to go. But if we we should win or take it to the wire in a playoff game. That's a success or not, depending how the loss goes in the playoffs. But anything less than that is a failure, period.
That's a building brick.
Agreed.
You know what, Larry, what you just talked about is a building brick to the next level.
Yes.
If we can make it into, at this point, if we make it into the playoffs and we could win a game, that gives us a hell of a lot of confidence for the coming year, and then that really does set us up for a potential run, and then we figure these things out. But to your point, if we go out and if we lose a playoff game, but especially if Tua looks bad or the team looks bad, then we got some significant problems, and then we can't have any hope for the coming year because then this team would fall flat.
And Snowball says, and he's a Bills fan, so take it with it. He says, we're built to win now. But Snowball should know that, he might want to think that we were built to win now and that we still aren't able to do it. But the fact is, our defense is absolutely decimated. And I'm not making an excuse for losing to the Bills. I'm not. I'm just saying we're not Super Bowl contenders this year because of that. That defense is decimated.
We're not only decimated on defense.
It's not an excuse for losing to the Bills, but we're not Super Bowl contenders.
We're not just decimated on defense, but we've been exposed on our linebackers. We don't have middle linebackers.
Yeah.
So
That
nobody,
also too. Yeah. We're not
nobody knows. Yeah, nobody knows how to tackle a quarterback because they always run on us, and nobody can follow with the tight ends.
We're terrible in the middle of the field.
Yeah, like we are just terrible.
And we never had that piece. So yes, we're trying to win. We're trying to win soon, but I never bought into the Super Bowl.
Our D-line has gotten a lot better.
But if you go back to the beginning of the season, you look at most of these content and most of these videos, none of us were saying, we were mostly saying we want a playoff win. That's what the roster's built for. None of us were saying really Super Bowl contenders because we just don't think we are there quite yet. Next year or the year after, maybe. But Dolphins land does not think we were Super Bowl contenders, despite what the media was saying. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think that with a few adjustments and some play calling and a little better execution, I think we can beat anybody. I literally believe we can go toe to toe with anybody.
But I'm not gonna get my hopes on that because
you can go to toe to toe. Hey, everybody goes toe to toe. That's what you're paid to do. Can you come up victorious? That's a whole different. Like it's night and day when you go toe to toe and you come up victorious, right? A lot of teams go toe to toe. France just went toe to toe with Argentina, and I mean toe to toe. But only one team gets the championship, and the rest all go home. So the only thing we can build on is, again, building blocks. We got to get some wins, big wins. So that is at least if we face a lower seed in the playoffs like the Titans, beat them.
I'm telling you, we're winning Sunday because if we get behind, I'm actually going to be at that game. I'm going down on that field and going to win that game my damn self.
I like it. All right, listen, guys, 3 hours. A lot of discussion, a lot of heated discussion, a lot of heated debate, which is awesome, which is great. We know we got to get on the right track Christmas Day. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Subscribe. I'm going to go final thoughts. RD, you first.
Yeah, man. Everything is on the table right now, and I'm pissed to say that, but everything is on the table right now because this was a monumental step backwards, right? It is what it is. Got to call it what it is. I'm optimistic that these guys are going to figure it out and go into the playoffs on the right foot and we make some noise. But I got to see it. No more projections, right? No more excuses, right? I gotta be on the side of what all the fans outside of the Miami Dolphin fan base is saying right now, which is, are we pretenders, right?
Yes, right.
And I need to see it. I'm on the outside now, and I'm looking, who is my team? And I'm going to judge them based on what I see. And if I see the play calling being, not sufficient, not efficient enough, If I see Tua struggle the way he did in a few games this year in high pivotal moments, you gotta call it for what it is. This team is just not good, and we have to not sign anybody long term anymore. Ride with what you have because a rebuild could be in the future if this team doesn't make any headwinds this postseason at least.
Agreed, RD. So look, let's hope they win, and we'll see you next week, my bro. After the game, we'll see what happens.
Peace.
All right,
All
peace,
right, guys.
man.
Thank you, guys. Take care now.
Later.
Later.
And Joe, shout out to Joe and Snowballs in there and everybody who joined us on the live chat. We really appreciate it. Pam, final thoughts.
Yeah, so I always wear my rose-colored glasses for the Dolphins. I've been a Dolphin fan my entire life, and so I'm going to always be a Dolphin fan. I believe that this team can compete, like I said, with a few adjustments. I believe that we're going to win these next 3 games. What happens after that, I'm not sure, but I feel like we can win at least one playoff, and of course, that's what we all want to see. But thanks, Larry, for having me up. I really appreciate it, and I enjoyed the show.
It's going to
Thank
have
you too, Pam. Thanks for coming on. We love having you. Come back. And thanks for your comments, too, on the channel.
And
have
by
a
the
good
way,
night, Pam. Merry
safe trip
Christmas.
to Miami.
Huh?
What's that, Jake?
I said, I hope you have a safe trip to Miami.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Talk to you later, Pam. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
John, Seattle's #1 fan, the Christmas
That's right.
spirit, the
That's
Christmas
right.
spirit himself. Final
And
thoughts, sir?
Travis Whitfield has nothing on you, my brother.
That's right. All right. Hey, real quick, Larry, I did send
Yes.
you an Instagram, okay? I go by
Yes.
the name Boot Scootin' all day, baby, because I'm just
I love
on the
it.
move.
All right. Bro. I'm going to talk to you about tomorrow.
Yeah, all right, sounds good. But as far as I just want to paint a big picture here. The team's been doing okay. But I feel like these past three games, I'm going to tie this into a UFC or a boxing fight. I feel like, boy, we have been knocked on our butt a couple times. But this Buffalo game, we got up and we took a couple blows and we delivered a few back. So we're like the boxer. We're the UFC fighter. Man, we got whooped around. But we came back and the fans are looking like, oh, man, this guy is not so wobbly no more. What's he going to do? And here's a moment of the fight where either that guy who got knocked down comes up and wins it all or gets knocked back down. And so that's what I'm looking to see. And where I'm at right now, I think we win 2 of the next 3, probably 3 of the next 3. We get a pretty good seed in the playoffs. I actually think we're going to win a playoff game. Granted, all my displeasure, this guy is good enough right now from what I've seen to win some playoff games. Is he the secret sauce for a Super Bowl? I don't think so, Larry. But you know what? He's taken a punch. He's got up. Let's see what the kid's got. Thanks for having me on, guys.
I love that analogy, my bro. I'll talk to you soon. I'll talk to you on Instagram soon, bro.
All right, sounds good. See
All
you
right,
guys.
later, John. Later. Merry Christmas. Greg, you did a whole work shift. You came out of the work shift. You drove home. You set up shop. You ate a snack, and you are here for the final thought. Sir, what is your final thought?
Man, I can't wait to this game on Sunday on Christmas. I'm very excited about this. Aaron Rodgers, yes, he scares me, man. He is an elite quarterback. Whether what he's done this year matters or not, but he's in my heart elite. It's gonna be tough against him. We got to go up against the rookie sensation Watson. We got Dillon and Jones. Those are scary running backs for this team. But hey, we're playing at home, so this defense is gonna light it up. I think we're gonna allow 17 points. We're gonna win 31-17, something like that. The Dolphins are gonna win. If the Dolphins lose this game, I'm gonna be very sad. I'm gonna have a very sad afternoon of my Christmas because
yes,
I have to. We lose 4 straight, but we should win this game. We have an extra day of rest. The Packers are coming on a short week. If we lose, I'm gonna be like I said, I'll be upset. We should win this game and get ready for Foxborough.
I agree with you. Greg. Get up to Foxborough and kick some Patriot butt as well.
I'm probably going to be at the hotel where they stay and get some autographs, maybe, as long as I don't have to work.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Make sure if you do that and you get any kind of video content or stream and you want to send it to me, I'll put it on the channel as a special feature. Just let me know.
We'll see. See,
Let me
I
know.
got to see my work or not. But.
Yeah, let me know, dude. That'd be cool. All right, Greg. Merry Christmas, man, and
Merry
let's get
Christmas
a Dolphins
to
win.
all.
I'll be talking to you. All right, later, brother.
Merry Christmas.
Shake. Final thoughts, sir.
Well,
It was
hey,
a
by
hell
the
of a
way,
panel. 3 hours. We
hell yeah. That's what I'm saying. Tuesdays, I think, is a good day.
Yeah,
but,
it's not bad, man. We might have to switch it. I'll look at some things, but it looks
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it might be a better day. We'll see.
But you know the difference between a snowman and a snow woman?
No, what?
Snowballs. But anyway,
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
No, man. I said previously, you know, the book is not done yet, man. Because at the end of the day, you know, when we went 8-3, everyone's like, oh man, I can't believe it. Now we lose 3 games. Oh, it's you know, people are coming out with their pitchforks. At the end of the day, we have to give them the whole month to prove. Because if he plays well in the month of December, in these next 3 games, the tide is gonna change, obviously.
Right.
So I think it's only right that we give him these last 3 games. But like you said, if they crap the bed, then there's no excuses. Because at the end of the day, look, I don't care when nobody says year 1 or year 2. Brian Flores started off here.
Yes.
McDaniels had the team here.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, this isn't a Super Bowl ready team, but it's built a lot better than when Brian Flores first got this team. So
100%.
So I think that we're gonna get this W. I'm going to be breaking out my my robe for.
I like it. Yep.
We're gonna
Back
be
to the
making
robe.
my tour
Yes.
next week here. And fins up and Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays.
Thanks,
Later, brother. Yeah, happy holidays to everybody as well, man. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year. Any holiday that you celebrate, you and your family, have a very happy and a very, very mellow one, merry one. Everybody, look, if you haven't done so yet, you can see we have a lot of lively discussions. You can see there's a lot of different personalities. All perspectives are welcome. All objective debate is welcome. We might get a little heated here and there, but it's all in good fun. It's all actually understanding and hearing out each other's points, which is a rarity these days, not only in sports, but other places. So at the end of the day, man, I love having you guys here. I love they're really all my co-hosts, especially the ones that kind of are here consistently. Like, you know, you got John and everything, and you got, you know, the guys, you got G, you get Pam coming on. So I really had a good time tonight. Let's hope our Fins get back on track. Let's hope they get up from that boxing match, like John said, and they do what they, you know, need to do. You know, like Shake said, man, he needs to be in that Shake Hefner robe. He needs to have his salty Tua. You know, we need Greg in good spirits while they're going into New England because he lives there. We just need everything back to where it should be in Dolphins land. But either way, everybody, this is an important week for you and your families, and even those who find themselves alone. Reach out to anybody. But look, have a beautiful, pleasant, amazing holiday. Let's hope that our Christmases are merry and bright with the Dolphins win against the Packers, and we will go from there. You will hear from me before then, most likely. But everybody have a merry Christmas, and I will talk to you all very soon. Larry K is out.
I know you heard me on the radio flexing. She loved the sound of my voice, it's the